The Manatee County Legislative Delegation meeting will come to order. Sadiq, please call the roll.
Representatives Connerly.
Here.
Representative Owen.
Here.
Senator Boyd. Here. Senator Greeters. Chair Robinson.
Here. Let the record reflect that we have a quorum, and let's please rise for the invocation by Representative Connerly, followed by the pledge by Representative Owen.
Bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you and ask for wisdom. Grant us the ability to see the truth and to work to benefit the folks of Manatee County, the state of Florida, and God bless the United States. Amen.
Amen. Attention to the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Manatee County Legislative Delegation meeting. It feels like yesterday we just ended the 2025 session, which we almost did. But we're here preparing for the 2026 session. And frankly, today is one of my very favorite days of the year to hear from Manatee County folks and my constituents on what issues are important to you all. I don't know if I've seen so many folks that have been signed up to speak. We also have 3 local bills. I don't know if I've seen 3 local bills on one agenda since I've been here. So we have a lot to get through today. So unfortunately, I'm going to have some time constraints during the meeting. But if you think about where we were a year ago and the devastating storms that struck our area and how our community has come together, I see several of my island friends out there, and we dealt with a lot. And God bless those in Jamaica right now, because it looks like they're going to suffer some pretty bad times over the next 24 hours. We know what they've been through, and God help this area. We have a few more weeks left in hurricane season, but so far, so good. But a lot of what we did last session reflected on that, and certainly I know there's some folks here on a certain bill that want to testify about that bill, and look forward to hearing from your comments on that. But we're here focused on the issues that you bring in front of us today. Certainly funding issues. The one constitutional requirement we have under our Florida Constitution is to pass a balanced budget. And that budget should fit the needs of you all in our great state of Florida. Look what the feds are dealing with. They can't even pass a budget, and they're in a shutdown. You compare that to what we're doing in the state of Florida. We want to hear from you on what your important issues are, not only from a policy perspective, but certainly from a funding perspective. And we are just so blessed. We have 2 fine gentlemen to my left in their first term. And Mr. President-designate, I'll turn it over to you for your opening comments. We're just so blessed to have you. And the fact that our area, our region, can have the Senate president. And you were designated, was it last week, 2 weeks ago? So congratulations for that honor on behalf of our community. And I don't know if I should call you senator, president-designate, chairman, leader, all 4, all 5. The floor is yours.
How about just sir? I'm kidding, of course. Thank you, Chairman. I'll be very brief. I would echo the Chairman's comments. It is a great day when we can hear from our community and what's important to you all, which ought to be and is important to us as we head to Tallahassee. Briefly on the President-designate ceremony and voting and whatnot, I feel very honored to be able to do that. It's personally a great honor, but more importantly, I think it's just an incredible thing for our community, because now we'll have the presiding officer of the Senate here in our community. And as you all know, those guys and gals that hold those positions get to make some decisions occasionally that benefit the area they're from, and that's okay, because that privilege travels around the state with different senators and different representatives that become speakers as well. So it's an honor, it's a privilege, and it's something I will use very carefully to protect and to serve our community. So thank you for being here today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the chance to say a few words.
Representative Owen.
Yeah. Well, it's great to see everybody. My name is Michael Owen. I represent District 70, and about 30% of my district is Manatee County. So I'm a little bit of the outsider here, but I can tell you in my time from just being here for 1 year, I've gotten to know a lot of the folks here in this room. For some of you, I was a former county commissioner, so I kind of get the local government stuff and the stuff that you're dealing with. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to serve really under these these two gentlemen to my right that have really kind of paved the way for what a true representative public servant are supposed to be like. So it's an honor to serve with you two gentlemen. I really look forward to this meeting. I feel a little sorry for Bill here. I ran 3 local bills at Hillsborough County Delegation just last week, so I'm praying for you here today, buddy. But it's great to be here. Look forward to seeing you all in Tallahassee as well.
Thank you. I'm Bill Connerly, District 72, and just glad to be able to work and provide benefit both to Manatee County, Southwest Florida, and the whole state of Florida. Looking forward to getting to work. I know we've got a lot of stuff on the agenda, so I'll just keep it short, and we'll get to work.
And there, you may notice there's one member that is not here, and I'd like to read something from Senator Gruters. Today is bittersweet as this marks Senator Joe Gruters' final Manatee County Legislative Delegation meeting representing our community in the Florida Senate. Senator Gruters sends his sincere apologies for not being able to be here in person, but wanted to share these words with you. And this is from Senator Gruters. I want to take a moment to simply say thank you. Serving the people of Manatee County and the state of Florida has been one of the greatest honors of my life. From the very first day I took office, my mission was to represent your values, your families, and your hopes for the future of this great state. Public service is about leaving things better than we found them, about facing challenges head-on and finding solutions for Floridians in need. Together, we've strengthened our communities, supported small businesses, and worked to make Florida an even better place to live, work, and raise a family. I am proud of all we've accomplished over the past 7 years. Every step of the way, I've been guided by your trust, and I've never taken that for granted. As I finish my last term in the Senate, I do so with a heavy heart, proud of what we've achieved together and deeply grateful for the community to serve you. My commitment to this community and to Florida's future will always continue. Thank you, and God bless. Before closing, Senator Gruters would also like to recognize and thank his colleagues in the Manatee County Legislative Delegation, future Senate President Jim Boyd, and Representatives Will Robinson, Bill Connerly, and Mike Owens for their leadership, friendship, and dedication to serving the people of Manatee County. Finally, he wishes to express his gratitude to his incredible staff, Vicki Brill-Keller, Jeremy Miller, and Mandy Hill, who are here today. They represent our office with professionalism and heart, and they are available if anyone needs assistance or would like to connect with Senator Gruters. Thank you. Sure. Senator Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'm sure I speak on behalf of the delegation, and I would like to say it publicly because I'd like this to be kind of read into the record. Joe Gruters is an amazing public servant. He is a friend to all of us. He's a friend to all of you, whether you're on the Republican or the Democrat side of the aisle. He is kind, compassionate, careful, and thoughtful in the way he approaches this work. I'm so proud of him for where he is today as a Republican. He's chairman of our national party, and that's an incredible job and an incredible honor and responsibility as well. He will serve us well, but I know Joe Gruters, and I know Joe Gruters will serve the community well, not just our party. So thank you, Joe. If you ever hear this or see this, for all you've contributed, thank you for being our friend and a dear friend and a great colleague here on this delegation.
Well said. Well said. Well, out with the old and with the new, we're going to have elections for the 2027-2028 Manatee County Legislative Delegation. I'll take a motion for chairman of the delegation.
Mr. Chair?
Sir?
I would nominate Representative Connerly as chair.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Congratulations, Chair Connerly in 2027.
Thank you.
I'll take a motion for vice chairman of the Manatee County Legislative Delegation for the 27-28 term.
Motion, Mr. Owen here, Representative Owen.
Representative Connerly makes a motion for Representative Owens for vice chairman. In a second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Vice Chair. Okay. With that order of business out of the way, now we're going to go to our local bills. And actually, I'm going to take up the third bill first, what I'll call the library board bill. But if there's anyone in the public that wants to speak on any of these local bills, please fill out a public appearance card in the back and hand it to Sadiq. Sadiq, raise your hand, and he will hand it to me. And just so you all know, a local bill will be heard by this delegation, and if it is approved, it will be heard and calendared in the Florida House and the Florida Senate and probably go through at least 3 committees. There is, well, it's up to the speaker entirely. There's a 99.9% chance all three of these bills would go through State Affairs. That is the committee that I chair. So if there are any concerns out there, please know that I want to hear them. And even though the delegation may approve a bill, there is a long process that we will go through. Like I said, there's at least 2 committees, maybe 3, that all these bills will go through. They would have to receive a Senate or a House floor vote and then a Senate floor vote and then obviously be approved by the governor. But anyone here is more than welcome. I'll limit the testimony to 2 minutes for the public if y'all want to appear, but please fill out a card. And so I'm going to call up I know it's number 3 on the agenda, but it's what I'll call the Library Board repeal bill, which is repeal Chapter 71-760 Laws of Florida. I'm not quite sure who's supposed to speak on that. Commissioner Ballard, welcome, and you're recognized.
Good morning, Legislative Delegation. Amanda Ballard. I am Manatee County Commissioner for District 2, and I'm here to briefly discuss the repeal of which I think it's actually currently 81-429, our Library Advisory Board statute. The board was originally established in the late 1960s and was governor appointed. In 1971, a special act was passed permanently establishing the Manatee Public Library System to be voted on by citizen referendum, and it included the current makeup of our Library Advisory Board. This was prior to the Home Rule Amendments, so I believe that at that time, our library system actually had to be established by special act. In 1981, post-Home Rule, the act was heavily amended and repealed most sections, but the Library Advisory Board remained in statute, codified under 81-429. The structure and duties of the board are prescribed in the statute and no longer meet the needs of our community today. In 1981, Manatee County had a population of 148,000 people. The population was heavily skewed toward our west. In the municipalities. 44 years later, our county's population has tripled, and our population centers have shifted both north and east. And the county would like the ability to expand our Library Advisory Board to include seats for Parish, Lakewood Ranch, and East County, and special seats for stakeholders like parents, youth, and teachers, and to have more input on policies like collection development. And so we would like to repeal the current law so that we can take it back down to the local level, put it in an ordinance, and basically have some local control over our library board. So it's a pretty simple request overall. And so I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any. Thank you.
Any questions for Commissioner Ballard? I have a couple. Did the Manatee County Board of County Commissioners review this, vote on this? Was there any comments publicly from them on this act?
We did vote on this, and I believe that the county commission voted unanimously to move this forward.
Okay. And if this bill was approved, would this be a return of your home rule powers in this area? It
absolutely would, and we would be very excited to see that.
Any further questions from you all? Any public comment? Anyone, Sadiq, that's filled out a public appearance card? Anyone in the public wishing to come forward? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment. Any debate? Actually, I'll let you close. Any further comments? Chair Cruz, you want to come up?
I don't want to speak on this because we did approve it unanimously. In fact, if you look at your handout, it's still in there as one of our priorities before this even came up. I just want to thank all of you and thank Representative Connerly. We just went up to Tallahassee 2 weeks ago, and this was a priority that we spoke about, Commissioner Ballard spoke about, literally less than 14 days ago, and this is already a local bill. So I just want to thank all of you for listening to us up there. It's a testament to what we do up in Tallahassee and you all listening to us. I was surprised to see this. I was happy to see this, but I was surprised to see this come up so quickly. So thank you all very much for listening to our concerns and acting on them. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good, Chairman.
And I want to make sure we have the right. So it's 81-429. Is that?
I believe that the current statute is 81-429. The original was 71-760.
Okay. And certainly the materials that we've been provided, that's the exact act that we are repealing.
It should be, and we will work with our legislative staff to ensure that you have both versions. Great. And that you have everything that you need.
Great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Any further debate or questions?
No, I would just like to say I appreciate the opportunity. I know this is it makes a lot of sense, and it seems like a no-brainer. So I appreciate the opportunity to clarify and provide, again, the ability for the local people to have a voice in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any further? And I'll echo those comments. Thank you, Commissioner Ballard, for bringing this forward. And it seems to me like a no-brainer. And this is part of the process. This is early on, so let's just make sure we got the right thing. We're repealing, obviously. And with that, I'll take a vote. Representative Connerly, yes or no?
Yes.
Owens?
Yes.
Boyd? Yes. Yes. Please show it passes unanimously 4-0. And I believe, who's carrying this in the House? So Representative Connerly, you will be carrying this in the House. Okay. We will move on to University Town Center Improvement District. I believe David Ramba is going to present on that local bill. Sir, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the delegation, Dave Ramba. This act would formally recognize University Town Center as an improvement district, as a critical regional commercial and tourism hub, and establish a permanent mechanism to ensure consistent maintenance for stormwater and funding of the shared multi-county infrastructure and services. The land takes up about 823 acres, just over 823 acres along Honore, north and south. It is all commercially owned property. It is land that would be used for and subject to assessments to maintain the stormwater, irrigation, roadway, lighting, recreation, landscape, and security infrastructure. As we have seen in a lot of the development out there, we have had some substantial flooding. When this is critical infrastructure of your grocery stores, your Home Depot, your Lowe's, your pathway north and south on Honore. The developer does want to make sure that we ensure continuity amongst the stormwater. It is in two counties, interestingly enough. There's University Parkway, as everybody knows, right through the middle of it. From a permitting standpoint, it will be easier for the district to do a comprehensive stormwater plan and assessment in their applications of those 823 acres in order to maintain that. If land does become residential, that residential land would be extracted from the district, so individual residents would not be subject to these assessments. What's also important, while there is some county land in there, the county, either Manatee or Sarasota, would not be assessed and would not be subject to any of the costs related to this. This is more for the commercial property in that corridor. And that is the bill. I'm happy to answer any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Mr. Ramba? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Ramba. And you said it, but I want to be crystal clear. Current residents that are homeowners or residential folks out there and future would not be subject to this assessment, correct?
Right.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. It is all commercial property located within the district, and there is a provision in here if commercial property somehow converts to a condo and becomes residential, that would be extracted from the district as part of the terms of the district.
Thank you very much.
Any further questions? Representative Connerly.
For clarification, the current owner of the property has agreed to these conditions, these restrictions that would be included?
Mr. Ramba.
Yes, Representative Connerly, that is correct.
Included in this legal description that are not agreeing to this. Is that correct?
To do ad valorem, but it would be the property owners that would vote on that.
Okay.
And since the property owner is the resident.
Okay. Representative Owens?
Yes.
Senator Boyd?
Yes.
Robinson votes yes. Unanimously 4-0. And since this is a two-county deal, I believe Representative Buchanan is carrying this on behalf of this bill. Last bill, Mr. Ramba, you're recognized to explain the Manatee County Port Authority District local bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This one should be because of your timeline prior to the vote of the Port Commission, a dependent district as almost a department of the county, or as an independent district, as other ports in the state have been created and counseled. I counseled the port based on my experience mainly with Chairman Boyd over the years. You should representatives who are here as well. Failure of this to pass would leave existing law in there, which apparently nobody recognized was out there. As you had Chapter Law 81-429 with this. This was in 2003, so 23 years ago, a law was passed that has some language in there that does need to be adjusted for the Harbor Pilots Council for the port has said this would be fine if this was included. That being said, for the record, the port has not voted to support independence, and that was the resolution that was before the Port Commission. It was a 3-3 vote. The chairman of the port, Chairman Ron's here, and he has a position, and others might as well, so I'd like to defer any further time. But on behalf of the port, we are currently not in support of this on a 3-3 vote.
Chairman Ron, are you here? Oh, didn't even see you over there. You're recognized.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, delegation. Again, congratulations, Senator Boyd, being Senate President. You'll represent this county great, and we appreciate that. Come for you this morning with regards to the Seaport Manatee becoming an independent district. While we did not have a majority vote, we did have a 3-3 vote to take we would like to take this independent. We do have support, though, of past leadership of the port, and I'd like to read their names into the record if I can, Mr. Chair. Right now, Commissioner George Cruz is in support, who is current BOCC chair and past port chair. Myself, I am in support of this, and I'm the current port chair and past chair of the BOCC. Kevin Van Ossenbridge, past port chair and past BOCC chair. Reggie Bellamy, and we all know Reggie Bellamy, he was 2-time past port chair. Vanessa Baugh, she was 2-time BOCC chair and 3-time past port chair. And James Satcher, past port chair and past supervisor of elections for Manatee County. We feel this is an important bill to bring forward, being that Seaport Manatee is becoming a port of significance, and as Seaport Manatee grows, we need to grow independently of Manatee County. This has zero impact, as Mr. Ramba said, on the citizens of Manatee County. We take no ad valorem like other ports do. We, as Seaport Manatee, believe that we have the opportunity to grow this port in a great manner with an independent board that is experienced in maritime law, maritime operations, port operations, and things like that. So we're working through the appointment issues of how this board will be appointed. As you said, Mr. Chair, this is a long way to go. We could start it today. I appreciate your support, but we still have to go through committee. We still have to get to the House, the Senate floors, and we still have to get to the governor's desk on this. So this is just the beginning of this process. And we believe that this is a great process for Seaport Manatee as it continues to grow and become, again, a port of significance. We're the closest port to the Panama Canal. We're the closest port to Port Havana. We have operational significance that if something were to happen. And also, our port not only serves this region, the Manatee counties and the surrounding counties, and Florida, we serve the Southeast United States and the United States of America through our distribution centers. We are a commodities and containers port, so we're not like Port of Tampa. We don't have passengers. We operate strictly on commodities and containers. So by passing this today, it would give us further opportunity to take this into the state level and move this forward. So I look for your support today, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you all might have.
I have a question, and just to flush this out a little bit, and this is kind of why I took the library bill first to kind of present a dichotomy there, or difference. The Manatee County voted unanimously and is asking us to do that. Here it's split, obviously. It's 3-3. And I was thinking back, frankly, the most controversial local bill we had was, and I see some of my island friends here, the parking garage preemption bill. That was eventually supported unanimously. So the board was asking us to do something. So this is a bit unique in that there's a split. There's a 3-3 deal, which, I mean, we represent Manatee County. We don't represent the commission. We represent the citizens of Manatee County. So could you flush out a little bit more in terms of, like, right now, who is supporting? I know you mentioned the port chairs. Have you talked to property owners? Have you talked to any other folks that are supporting this?
I will tell you right now, the majority of our trade partners do support this. I've met with several of them. The major, like World Direct Shipping and Aguza and other ones like that, they support the port's independence also and be an independent district and not a dependent district. The vote was myself, Commissioner Cruz, Commissioner Ballard were in favor. Commissioner Cruz being the longest serving member on the Port Authority and, like I said, a past port chair. But our trade partners are in line with this. They see the opportunity for Seaport Manatee to be able to grow independently, and they would support this wholeheartedly.
Any questions, Senator Boyd?
One quick question.
Yes, sir.
I know this, as you mentioned, Commissioner, the process, this has a long way to go. And the harbor pilots, I know, have reached out to some of us. Are they here today? Is someone from the harbor?
I'm not
Okay,
sure.
oh, there you are. Okay, I don't need you to, I just, at some point, I want.
We're working closely
Okay.
with them, with Port Council and our port lobbyist, Mr. Ramba, to make sure that we take care of our harbor pilots. They're an important piece of what Seaport Manatee is.
They
They
matter
always
to
have been. We can't bring our ships in without them driving them. So they are an important piece of who we are, and we feel very confident we'll work through the issues with the harbor pilots, and I think we have gotten very close with that.
I've got some comments later, but I just wanted to make sure they were represented because they are a
Yes,
very
sir.
important
Yeah,
component to
they're
all
a
of our
very
ports.
important partner of Seaport Manatee.
Thank you.
Representative Connerly, you're recognized.
Yes, sir. One of the points that was made that if this becomes an independent district, there's not an opportunity for the citizens to be impacted with a burden, a financial burden. Currently, the way the port's operated, does the county have to guarantee the operation of the port? Are we at risk
No, so
currently?
The county doesn't guarantee the operation of the port. Port operates now independently. Way back when, basically like when mom and dad had to sign for your car loan when you got your first car, the county had to help guarantee some bonding that the port was doing because the port was not in the financial shape to stand on its own. Today, with the port revenues, we are fully capable of standing on our own. So there would be no impact. And plus, the way the local bill is written, that the new board, if it would be appointed, cannot impact Manatee County. It's revenue bonds that the port supports. So there's no ability to impact the citizens of Manatee County or put Manatee County citizens in debt. Like, again, we take no ad valorem like other ports do, and we do support Manatee County, Seaport Manatee does, through employment, through taxes, and other things that we put back into the county, and that'll always stay the same. I mean, nothing of that changes.
And I'll make this point in my close or my debate. I'm torn on this, but one thing that is swaying me one way or the other is, so what happens if the Manatee County Port Authority currently defaults on the bonds? Who guarantees those?
Well, they're revenue bonds, sir. So I mean, they're tied to the revenue of Seaport Manatee.
Okay.
So basically, in the local bill, I mean, if they were to default, if we were to default on the payment of bonds, it'd be the same action that the county could take the same action to recoup those through the revenue of Seaport Manatee.
So I guess my question, to further clarify, are the citizens of Manatee County impacted at all if the port were to fail?
They're impacted now.
That's my question.
Yeah,
Can you flesh out a little bit for
If
me?
the port would have failed today, God forbid, and I don't think it'll happen, but if the port were to fail today, nothing changes. It's the same as it is today. So the bonds that are currently being guaranteed by Manatee County or citizens of Manatee County are going to be there till we either refinance them off, which is our plan to do. When the bond market gets a little bit better, we would like to take those bonds and refinance them out, and they'd come 100% under the port. And it would be the goal, I would hope, the goal of the commissioners, which one will be a county commissioner that will be appointed by the board, would be appointed by the Board of County Commissioners of Manatee County to sit on this new board. It would be our goal to move these bonds out as quickly as possible. I'd do it today if we could, but the bond market's not the greatest today to do that with. So, but to answer your question, Chairman, yeah, nothing's different than it is today.
Any further questions of Chair Ron? Seeing none, we'll go into public testimony. I know former Commissioner McClash, you're recognized for 2 minutes, sir. And anyone else, please fill out a public appearance card.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I didn't know this was on the agenda today. Wasn't posted, but I appreciate your time. Congratulations to all serving our community. It's unprecedented to have a chairman come up here and support an issue that's against the will of the body. The Port Authority took no action. 3-3, as you know, is no action. So for you to sit here and good questions, flush this out in a delegation meeting should not be the place that it takes place. It should be a presentation to the Port Authority, the members of this community, and flush out these issues and come back next year if there's a bill that should be considered. What's the rush? One of the advantages that has not been discussed is as commissioners, and I served 22 years as a county commissioner, as a Port Authority member. So I'm the longest serving Port Authority member ever in the history of probably Manatee County. One of the biggest advantages is that we were able to protect the environmental areas of Manatee County, Tampa Bay, by having policies that were in line with Manatee County government. You can't do that if you destroy this type of governorship. So I would request that you remove this from your calendar today, from approving this bill, move it forward, and let the county and the citizens participate. It was blindsided If you've read the reports, Port Authority blindsided this on the agenda. There was no forewarning that this agenda was coming up to change the makeup of the port. Is that how you want to conduct business? I applaud you today because you're making it public. But this was not agended where Port Authority members were briefed on it ahead of time. And so that was part of the problem. And I think if you had 4 people there, you would have had 7 people there, I think you would have had 4 votes against it. So it's not really proper for a chairman to come up here and support something that wasn't approved.
Thank you. Any further public testimony? I think I saw some hands back there. Sir, state your name and your residence or county residence, and you're recognized for 2 minutes.
I'm Captain Jack Timmel. I live in Hillsborough County. I'm one of the managing partners for the Tampa Bay Pilots Association. I want to really briefly thank everybody up here for your support in the last session for helping us rebuild our critical infrastructure. Today, I want to thank you. I want to thank Mr. Ramba. I want to thank Manatee in working with us to correct some of the archaic language that's in the original draft of this bill. And look forward to working with you all one way or another to get this language fixed, either in this bill or in another format if this bill doesn't proceed, to kind of fix some of this language that is both counter to current state law as well as not in the best interest for Manatee County or the state in general. So we're here to answer any questions if you have them, but otherwise we thank you for working with us off the scenes with us. So.
Thank you. Any further public testimony? Chair Cruz, you're recognized.
I'm not advocating on behalf of the Port Authority. I'm advocating on behalf of myself and my justification for this. The reason we didn't have a 3-4 vote was a 7th member who was in town chose not to come because it wasn't worth their time coming to the port. That is all too common with this Port Authority. There were more consent agenda items pulled on our last regular agenda item meeting for Board of County Commissioners than in all 5 years of my time on the port. People don't pay attention to it. We're already strained thin by being county commissioners with the workload we're trying to handle and the work we're trying to do. Nobody pays attention to this port. And it could be, and it should be, and it currently is, the largest economic generator in Manatee County. We're doing a disservice to the port. We're doing a disservice to the citizens of Manatee County by not having people who can laser focus on it like they do at SRQ. This does not take away our board's right to oversee this port relative to getting information and making sure on top of it. I meet with Rick Piccolo all the time to talk about what's going on with SRQ, what's going on with their land, what's going on with the project. We will still have every right to meet with Carlos Baqueras and talk about the port and make sure it's moving in the right directions for our citizens. But we're not making day-to-day decisions because honestly, for 5 years, we haven't been making day-to-day decisions now. We need to put a better board on there that's going to be more hyper-focused on the growth of our port while we still have an opportunity to grow it and the space and the land to grow in that area of Manatee County. That's why I supported this. Thank you.
Any further public testimony? Seeing none, we're in debate. Any members? Senator Boyd, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I do support this effort, and I know it's got a ways to go, and we have some things to work out as it moves through the process. But a couple of things are interesting to me, and I don't want to belabor this, but I think it's important. When I first got in the legislature, the port was on the ropes. And you can go back and read the report. You can go back and read articles that were written. And we were in trouble. And that was a responsibility of Manatee County then. Thankfully, we found a great leadership out there under Carlos and his team, and they've turned the port around. But everybody that I've talked to along the way has also suggested, and those are the vendors and some of the people that are attached to the port, that independent board would make great sense to move this port forward in a very positive way. Some of the things that were said, environmental protections, if I heard it right, would just be done away with. That's a red herring. There's so many organizations in our state and agencies that look out for that and make sure that our environment is protected. This delegation, I can guarantee you, based on our votes that we've taken and some of the initiatives that we've advanced, we care about the environment as well. So some of those arguments I don't think are valid and shouldn't be advanced. This is just an effort to make, as I think Commissioner Chair Cruz just said, this is one of our, if not our largest economic engine for the county, just to make it even sing and dance a little bit better. And it can. You know, there's land around there. There's folks that want to come to the port and do business there that haven't in the past. So an independent board, in my view, makes great sense. We will have representation from the county, of course, and I think it's a move to kind of position us for future opportunities, because believe me, around the state and around the coastlines of the U.S., a lot of people are competing for our business. And this is another way for us to be competitive on a global scale, or more competitive, on a global scale. So, again, I'll look forward to the conversations in Tallahassee as this moves forward, but I'm very supportive today.
Representative Owen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I probably have a unique perspective. I was a port commissioner in Tampa, and the makeup of our board, basically the mayor of Tampa and one county commissioner, and that was me, served on Port Tampa Bay, which is a very large port, $17 billion industry. And I'll just be frank with you. To be honest, I couldn't imagine having all of our county commissioners on Port Tampa. The expertise in a lot of ways that we depend on as elected officials on the maritime community. It's a very complex, working between the harbor pilots and a lot of times what we are is just basically landlords. And making sure that we have the right folks in there that are positive of the port. It is a major economic impact. I think I'm the only state rep that represents actually 2 ports. So my door is completely open for those of you folks that are opposed to it. Please come see me in Tallahassee. But I can tell you all that this system works in Tampa Bay, and I believe it would work here too as well. Thank you.
Further debate. Representative Connolly, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you. And I would like to point out that President Boyd, or soon-to-be President Boyd, is absolutely correct. The permitting agencies that are going to be involved in anything that happens at the port, I think Manatee County would be ancillary to those, such as the Army Corps of Engineers, DOT, the Coast Guard are involved. All of these agencies are going to be very diligent in what happens at the port. One of the things I think we need to be mindful, and this does fall under the umbrella of the county commission, is protecting the lands around that area. This is an asset, and it's not easy to find land that's industrially zoned for heavy commercial. This is one of those, but the county commission can absolutely protect the county's ability to grow the port, and that's one of the reasons this is so very important, is that the Port of Manatee is unique in the state that we have the ability to grow. All the other ports are essentially constrained by urban or roadway networks that don't allow the growth. So we have a asset in Manatee County that's unique in the state, and I think this is one of the efforts that we can do to protect it.
I'm torn on this. I got to be honest with you. If the vote today was to make this law today, I would have a different vote than I'm going to cast today. I just don't want another fake legislative fight here. We have a number of issues with Manatee County that we were in, property taxes that we may be going through. To me, I'm just trying to make the right decision. And I don't know what the right decision is right now. That's why I was asking Chair Ron, who's behind this? And if the fact was not that, frankly, this bill would be going through my committee, I would have a different vote on this. I want to hear from everyone out there and in the public that may be listening to this. I certainly want to talk to the clerk. I'm really focused on the Manatee County taxpayer and what could happen, both pro and con, with this. I want to hear from her, and I want to hear from more of the county commissioners. I've only spoken to a couple of them. I know a few have concerns, at least ones that I've read, so I want to talk to them about what their concerns are. Because, look, the cardinal rule in politics, if you break something, you own it. And I haven't gotten one email about the port, changes or having problems. So I want to make sure we're making the right decision on behalf of the citizens and the taxpayers for Manatee County. I'm going to vote yes to advance this bill today, but with some reservations to make sure we clear up some of these issues. And I hear from everyone to make sure that they're comfortable with this moving forward. I do recognize that the Sarasota Airport Board has worked well. That's an example of an independent district, but as former Chair McClash mentioned, there may be some concerns if this goes to more of a independent variety. So I'd like to flesh that out some more and better understand it, but I will be voting yes to advance this forward. So with that, we'll take the roll call vote. Representative Connolly.
Aye.
Aye. Representative Owen.
Yes.
Senator Boyd.
Yes.
Robinson votes aye. Advances 4-0. Who's taking this through the legislature? Representative Connolly will be speaking a lot over the next 90 days.
Absolutely. I've already got a long list of things to talk about.
Great. Thank you. Look forward to that. Okay, so that wraps up the local bill portion of the agenda, and we're going to move forward to those that are on the agenda, and we're going to start off with our great hosts, the City of Bradenton Mayor Gene Brown and the City Administrator Rob Perry. Thank you for hosting us, and you're recognized, Mr. Mayor.
Glad to do it, Mr. Chair, and welcome to the City of Bradenton, obviously in Manatee County, the largest municipality and the county seat, so we appreciate having the opportunity to host you. Senate Designee President, Mr. Boyd, we are proud to be at your swearing in a few weeks ago, and obviously a great friend and always generationally family to Manatee County, and that's important. Representative Owen, Representative Connerly, thank you for last year and helping us get through. You know, at the time we didn't know what we were going to get hit with, but our resiliency in this city is so important right now, and that's what, legislatively we saw the appropriations last year that really helped us to continue that next step. And being a 122-year-old city, obviously we've got a lot of old pipes too, and a lot of things that we're working through to generationally set up for the future. So what you're going to see, Mr. Perry's going to talk about, and what we'll work over the next 90 days, hopefully, and to get to a governor's signature, and by July of next year will be helpful again to the citizens of the City of Bradenton. And I just want to thank, one last thing, is my city council members that are here today. We've got Councilwoman Coachman, Councilman Schuessler, Councilwoman Coker, and I didn't see if Councilwoman Moore came in, but if she did come in, okay, she got there, right there. And then Councilwoman Barnaby will be watching it. She had a little fall last week and is under the weather, but she'll bounce back, as we say. We had a great fire department opening, and there's a pole, and take with that what you want. So coming down a pole, but no, it's easy to laugh about. She's not hurt too bad, but hopefully when it's over, it's good. But thank you, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Perry. Thank you.
Perry, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Chairman, thanks so much for the opportunity. Mayor basically covered a lot of the appreciation and thanks that I wanted to express with you for your present and past and hopefully future support. We have a collateral package that we put together, and there's really about 5 categories of these projects for direct appropriation. And it's going to deal with clean water. When we talk about clean water, we're talking about wastewater, both treatment and collection systems. Then we're talking about drinking water. Of course, we have Evis Reservoir and the surface water program that services our citizens of Bradenton. We have stormwater that we're also familiar with, particularly after last year's hurricane and heavy weather season. Resiliency related there too, and lastly, public safety. Some public safety projects that are in the package. I'm unique and get a great opportunity and privilege to represent our mayor and city council. It's kind of the point guy on our capital plan, and we talk about these types of utility, what I call horizontal underground projects, but we also have, as the mayor's pointed out, a lot of vertical projects. So new police station, 2 fire stations, the PSOC, which is our Emergency Operations Center, and a host of other capital equipment types projects that you've been very supportive of. And we have to express our thanks over the years. Again, these particular projects probably focus more on what we call Face It and Fix It, which is a campaign to look at the history of Bradenton's utility program and try to focus on those priorities of restoring, rebuilding, and replacing necessary infrastructure. And we're not doing this alone, and we're not asking you to do it for us. We have made significant investments into that, including, I think, about $9 million in ARPA money that we took out of the 11 we had. We've sought about $48 million in SRF funding, a host of other grants, and so it really kind of takes a massive different funding to do these projects. You're talking about $100 million in an older city to redo these types of projects, but the benefits and the criticality of the projects are important. And when you do these types of projects, we have to have the capacity and bandwidth and technical expertise to do it, because it involves simultaneous project management, administration, fiscal, permitting, the technical requirements of heavy civil engineering, environmental engineering, the hydraulics that are related to it, and just a whole host of other project management and construction services. And we built that out. We have increased our bandwidth by getting additional engineering services, GIS services across the board. And as you see on some of this, we've been able to look at the wastewater treatment plant and put 6 or 7 major projects in just in the course of the last few years. So, and a lot of that has been with your help. Again, thank you so much for your appreciation. The last page kind of spells it out. Look at what we've done and think about what we're doing. We thank you so much for your assistance, and that partnership and support is vital and critical to the city of Bradenton. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Mayor.
congratulations to you, Senator Boyd. I enjoyed my time in Tallahassee.
Thank you.
And Senator Boyd would attest that I gave an admonishment about going down that fire pole to our city council.
Yeah, I heard about that. Okay.
Thanks so much.
I was going to until they said that.
And I think we do have a buzzer. I'm not sure if it's working. Unfortunately, we only have a 2-minute or 2-minute limitation for every presenter. We have 60 plus, and I want to get through everyone, and time will slip away. So sorry about that. Just remember, you're just speaking to us, and we have all your materials, and this is just a start. We want to hear from all of y'all at our offices, schedule individual meetings. If there's more we can brief, it's just we got a lot of folks to get through. And with that, Mayor Brown, you're recognized to talk about Sarasota Manatee and PO.
Thank you, and thank you. I won't go through all that again. But on behalf of the Sarasota Manatee Metropolitan Planning Organization, thank you for your support of transportation and the opportunity to talk about regional transportation priorities. The MPO's 2050 Long-Range Transportation Plan incorporates regional priorities on and off the state highway system. It is a vital guiding document for getting crucial transportation projects built in support of our economy and consistent with Florida Transportation Plan. Just like our constituents, 2 of the MPO's biggest concerns are congestion management and bridge improvements, adding capacity between Bradenton and Palmetto, and vital connection between Sarasota and the Tampa Bay region to the north. It is our top priority, with the connection being one of the worst bottlenecks in our region. The MPO and the FDOT conducted an extensive Barrier Island traffic study to address seasonal congestion, which is like a 4-month-long special event. We identified short, medium, and long-term projects to improve traffic flow on and off the Barrier Islands while local jurisdictions can implement some of the recommendations. Many of the proposed solutions will require additional state investment on state roads. We hope you will encourage FDOT to implement these projects as quickly as possible. Numerous and other state investments on state highway systems are needed throughout our region, above and beyond currently funded projects. Beyond these projects, our request is simple. Allocate all transportation funds to transportation projects, preserve existing local and state transportation funding sources, explore new revenue sources for transportation, including general fund appropriations for the legislative additions to the FDOT work plan. Several other things you have in your document, and we just want to thank you. One thing I would like to do is also obviously thank the MPO staff. I know there's been some controversy about the MPOs around the state. I would just like to advocate that I think working with DOT is very important to keep the MPOs. And if there's a bad MPO out there, let's fix it. As you said about some of the ports, sometimes those things want to look at. So thank you. I would like to introduce, I don't know if they're standing behind me yet. Dave Hutchinson has worked with us for many, many years, is retiring, and he's bringing in Ryan Brown. Now, my son's name is Ryan Brown. This is not my son. So somebody said, why are you hiring your son? But Ryan is kind of the young and up and coming, and we really appreciate the knowledge, and we were fortunate to have him as an interim, as a vice chair, and now going to be our executive director. So thank you.
Great. Thank you. Congratulations, and thank you for your service. Thank you. Chairman George Cruz. And I don't know if Stephanie's joining, but Chairman, you're recognized.
It's 2 minutes. Sorry.
I'll give you more than that, Chair. Manatee County.
I'll do my best to be respectful of your time now. Thank you all for coming, and thank you all for meeting with us in Tallahassee 2 weeks ago. You all have been given copies of our leave behind that was just printed up, and we spoke to many of you about many of these issues. So I'll just kind of clarify a few things. You'll see in here we made sure to add some real policy positions in here. Last year there was a discussion of we should get some of our policy thoughts out earlier to help kind of give some guidance to our delegation on where our mindset's at. So you'll see a few of them in there. Some of them include supporting FACTS policies, Florida Association of Counties, for people watching their policies in terms of property taxes. But in addition, you'll see some policy initiatives that allow us to work to lower our property taxes for our citizens. Some you'll see in there is indexing local fuel taxes, as well as fixing the FRS system. We're getting really bogged down with the mandates from the retirement, especially when it comes to health care for some people that just come on board and then leave, shortly thereafter, and then, we're on the hook for that. That's becoming more and more of a burden for our budget. So the more we can fix our budget, the more we can give back to the citizens of Manatee County. Other policy things you'll see in there include Live Local. That's mainly because 120% is just not that's just not affordable at this point in time. We'd like to see that if we're going to have to give the tax exemption, at least lower that. I argued 80%, but I think 100% is reasonable. That's what you'll see in there. As an aside, it's not in our packet, but because Rep. Connerly mentioned it, we are looking to protect the port, but as you pointed out, there's very little industrial land, and that's important to the growth of the port. Live Local allows people to build on that residential as of right, so that's maybe something to consider going forward. I've argued Live Local should be more like an opportunity zone and allow for some pockets that we can protect around airports and ports and other sensitive areas. I'm sure Pasco would agree with that statement. And the last policy thing you'll see in there, obviously, is not surprisingly Senate Bill 180. We'd like some thoughtful consideration to modifying it. And just to be clear, what you hear in the state or in the community, we're not looking to repeal Senate Bill 180. Senate Bill 180, 95% of it's an amazing bill. We went into the sponsoring senator last year and thanked him for that bill. It's a thoughtful bill that does tremendous benefits for the citizens. But I think the implied intent of the legislature when you all voted for it is not how it's actually being enacted and interpreted by some of the agencies up in Tallahassee. We're just trying to clarify that so we can have our proper growth management. The easiest thing is if you look at Section 3 about impact fees, it specifically refers to property as the reconstruction or replacement of a previously existing structure. If that definition traveled throughout the rest of that bill, you would effectively have fixed the bill in its entirety. There are some other nuances to it, but that's, I think, the biggest hang-up. It's preventing municipalities from being thoughtful on their growth for future growth, but we're fully in support of making sure that people are out to build and restructure after a storm, and no municipality should prevent that. Real quick, because I know my time is way up, although I was given 50 extra seconds, is our appropriations. Some of these will look familiar because they were on last year. I do want to thank everyone on the delegation for getting all of our appropriations through the budget process last year. I think that is missing sometimes in the conversation that you all did, in fact, get them all in the budget. They just didn't seem to get to the finish line after the budget. So some of these are going to be the same. The Veterans Resource Center, which we're working both with the state and federal to get funding. 51st Street West, which has been on there a few years. We've received appropriations in past years. The board is working on redesignating that as a memorial highway for Charlie Kirk. That's going to help alleviate a lot of the new development for Seaflower and out by Elcon and take some of the traffic off of Elcon and 75th. We're supporting AMI's, City of Anna Maria's request for their pier funding, fixing a bridge, and finally we have the interchange for Fort Hammer up on I-75. That's going to be a huge benefit to not only Manatee County, but Hillsborough County and Sarasota County to help with evacuation traffic and just general traversing of the three counties. Thank you very much.
I was really hoping you would buzz the mayor, given it's his auditorium, the auditorium City of Bradenton, but he didn't. Senator Boyd.
Thank you, Chairman, for these initiatives, and we certainly, as we have in the past, will work with you all to try to do the best we can on the things that are important to our community. And I don't want to relitigate Senate Bill 180, but I do want to make this comment. As that was going on, a lot of things were said by some of our friends in the community that were not necessarily true. This delegation, our legislature, tried very hard to protect citizens. After the storms, specifically, some folks weren't even able to get building permits to get back in their homes 5, 6, 7, 8 months later. The bill was very well intended. It simply meant, in terms of the thing that I think caused you all and others some anxiety, was that we couldn't change any rules for a certain period of time. And specifically, the wetland buffers issue came up. Again, I don't want to go through the whole thing again because it could be counterproductive. But what I want to say is, we said all along, we say, and I think I can speak for my colleagues. I know I can speak for Senator DeSigley, who ran the bill, and Representative McFarland, who ran the House side of the bill. I know I can speak for them because I've talked to them individually. We said all along, if there's things we can tweak and that we need to fix, we certainly will. Along the way, it was made to look like this was jammed down communities, not just Manatee counties, but others around the state down their throats intentionally, and it wasn't. It was something to try to protect residents and citizens, help, and more importantly, help them get back into their homes and properties after such significant storms, now and in the future. So I've said all along, my colleagues have said all along, Representative McFarland, Senator DeSigley have said all along, if there's things that we can do to tweak it and make it the best bill that we can, certainly we will. We do that every year on lots and lots of things. And I expect we'll have that conversation again this year, because I just spoke with Senator DeSigley a week ago, and I spoke to Representative McFarland 2 or 3 weeks ago about it. So all that said, Senate Bill 180 is still alive. It's still something we're talking about and something we're trying to just make the best we can. So enough said, but I wanted to get that out because there was a lot of things written over the past 6-8 months that weren't necessarily, and not by you, I'm not suggesting you wrote those, Chairman, but that weren't accurate or weren't true, and I think it's important that we get our voice out as well in that. So thank you.
We agree with you, and you were on the Senate side. You passed the bill without the extra language in there originally. It got inserted after the fact. And we agree wholeheartedly. We do believe the intent of the legislature. I've talked to probably half of the legislature at this point in time. I've been running around talking to everybody. Everyone admits the intent was there for the proper intent, and we fully support that proper intent. We do not want to see Senate Bill 180 go away. It's a great bill. We just want it tweaked so that the intent is actually implemented by the agencies. We have 3 branches of government, and your branch of government, I believe, passed a good, albeit unclear bill. We just need to make sure it's clarified so that other branches of the government are acting upon it to allow municipalities to have the home rule necessary for proper growth management.
Representative Owen?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I want to just add thank you for coming and see us so much in Tallahassee. For the members of the public here that may not see, it's not the easiest trip to make. And your chairman and your county commissioners and your executive director, they are a regular presence in Tallahassee. And there's a lot to be said for that, okay, because that's not necessarily part of the job. So thanks for coming up. On Live Local, I've been very clear. I'm not a big fan of that bill. Besides light industrial being under attack, which I think is a major issue, not just in Pasco and Hillsborough and Manatee, but across the state, are you guys having any where a lot of the apartment complexes are converting over to Live Local? Are you having that like we're having in some parts of the state?
2 things.
Sure, Chris.
To be respectful, I love Live Local personally.
Yeah.
I do not believe light industrial is under attack, as some may say. I believe there are pockets of industrial and pockets of commercial that I think should have had the ability to be protected. Pasco around Wesley Chapel, us around our port. Like I said, if it would have been structured more like an opportunity zone to give each municipality an opportunity to designate 10%, 15, 25%, all of that zoning not eligible for Live Local, I think you would have alleviated a lot of concerns.
Okay.
But because we're now trying to protect a port and an airport and sensitive areas around 301 in the Whitfield-Talavast area where we're seeing heavy growth, it's becoming burdensome, for lack of a better term, to everybody. But otherwise, I don't think it's a problem. I think Live Local is a good solution. We're not seeing it. We have 0 Live Local projects.
Okay.
There's been a few in light of the Yigby language from last year, the Yes in God's Backyard, that have proposed things, but you all structure that as an opt-in, and I'm not sure of any, or maybe a few around Pinellas. For the most part, I don't think anyone's actually opted into Yigby yet. At least we have not formally opted into it. So there's been conversation, but no action.
And that's great information for me to have, because my understanding in Hillsborough County, for example, the design was for the urban core to get more affordable housing, abandoned warehouses, for example, that are industrial to convert over. And what we're having an effect in the suburbs of where you're having a lot of these without any jobs, any public transportation, that kind of stuff. So that's really good to know that it's a different effect over here in Manatee County.
I wish people would.
Yeah.
We have a lot of motels. We have one-stop housing, people like that could, as of right, be using Live Local to convert. However, you also have to make sure you're cognizant of the fact that a lot of the Live Local parameters require minimum numbers of units, and a lot of these smaller hotels just won't qualify for Live Local. There was a lot of restrictions put on Live Local, and there's lots of different layers of it. I think that's starting to confuse some people. If you need to have 70 units and you're converting a 30-unit motel on 14th, you're not going to be able to take advantage of all the benefits.
Great information, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Manatee County School District Chairman Chad Choate. And I see Ms. Spray there as well. And on deck is Michael Gowan with the clerk's office.
Morning, Chairman, delegates. Senator Boyd. Real quick, want to get the mic to.
We just want to say thank you for everything that you do. The students made some designs for you, Senator President Designee, from our school district, and I gave a bag for you from Manatee County School District students. Congratulating.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Now that you have a bigger office, you'll be able to put more stuff on the walls for the kids.
Let's go out run our
The
headlights.
kids' decorations. I know, again, thank you all for everything you do and giving us time whenever we needed it. And obviously, we visit Tallahassee. We'll be visiting you before you leave. We have sent our legislative priorities to your offices. Really, the components that are in our legislative priorities is a lot of deregulation, a lot of changing the way that we have to spend, especially on construction, looking at the Cristaldi report and also at the SREF. I know that's been talked about. I'm sure you've heard from some of our board members already about allowing us to do some things that could potentially save us money in the construction side of things, just because we know how much growth is happening in the area and how many schools we're building, right? So large part of our priorities is that. We also have some priorities set on just some funding and things like that. I will say our appropriation ask this time around. We have a great Soren 4 lab that just opened up on Harley campus. I know Senator Boyd was there at the ribbon cutting. I know Representative Robinson, you're coming, I think, today to tour it. Mm-hmm. So I invite anybody, any of the other delegates, you can come and tour it. Phenomenal place. Anyone in the public that wants to come and tour it tonight, absolutely come out to it. We're trying to expand that program to north of the river. So Harley's great, but not everybody can get there from across the county. We know we have a large county. So our appropriation ask is to be able to get some funding to be able to create these great SOAR labs. And if you don't know what the SOAR lab is, and for everybody out there, just early learning literacy, how to move your body and use your hand and things like that for pre-K and VPK. So love you guys to attend if you can. If not, get with us and we'll get you set up. Thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you, Chair. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Manatee Clerk of the Circuit Court and Comptroller, Mr. Gallen. Town of Longboat Key is up next.
Good morning, legislators. My name is Michael Gallen. I'm here on behalf of the Manatee Clerk of the Circuit Court and Comptroller, Ms. Angel Coloniso. Good morning, Senator Boyd, Representative Robinson, Representative Owen, and Representative Connerly. I appreciate you all taking the time out of your day and this year to listen to us and to our needs of the clerks statewide. The clerks statewide and within the 12th Judicial Circuit are very appreciative of all your efforts in the past. You all have been great supporters of the clerks statewide, but once again, we're facing a significant funding shortfall. We're facing a $75.1 million shortfall this year statewide. In the last 10 years, court staff have been reduced in our office from 123 to just 90 employees today. In that same time, clerks' budgets increased only 6.4% overall, while other state court and justice agencies saw 53.2% increases. This is akin to operating a 2025 business with 2008 fees. Imagine, a couple of attorneys up here, myself included. Imagine running a business and a law firm off 2008 fees. So today we're operating off those fees from nearly 20 years ago. The shortfall started well before you all were in Tallahassee representing us, but can be fixed by your efforts in Tallahassee. This year, the clerks will have policy bills to address our budget shortfall, and we hope that for your full support with these bills. We have a policy bill and a fee bill. So I just want to thank you in advance for your attention in this very serious matter, and if we can answer any questions as an agency through FCCC or from the Manatee Clerk's Office, we're here to help you. Thank you.
Mr. Gallen, I appreciate what you're saying, and I've talked to Clerk Coloniso a lot about this issue. I believe it's reaching a critical stage at this point. We got, I think, 3 new judges in the 12th Judicial Circuit, which is wonderful, but we didn't have clerk support staff with that allocation. Yes. And the clerk does so many important things, not only for our community, but they're the watchdog, and we got to make sure that they are funded appropriately. So I have charged the chair of Justice Appropriations in the House side to take a look at this, because we seem to be kind of tackling this every year. I'd like to have a wholesale view of this and hopefully, like you said, one bill, one thing where we can streamline everything and make sure that clerks are adequately funded because, like as you know, as their lawyer, the scope of the jobs that the clerk has to do is immense, and we seem to just throw things here and there. When we can't find someone else to do it, we give it to the clerk. So thank you so much. We're hopeful to work on that, and I'll take a look at that bill when it comes up forward. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you all.
Town of Longboat Key, Mr. Mayor, welcome. And City Commissioner Whitmore is on deck.
So thank you, gentlemen, for inviting Longboat Key to meet with the delegation again. And congratulations, Senator Boyd, on your presidency. It's an honor for our area. It'll be great for the state. It'll be great for our region, especially with your knowledge of some important issues like insurance, but also what it's like to be a barrier island and Gulfside communities. Our primary concern this year is the direction to be taken by the legislature on the proposed reduction of property taxes. Not a lot of municipalities are represented here today, so I'm glad to make this comment. Bills already filed range from complete repeal down to modest or targeted adjustments to our homestead exemptions. Please remember that any reduction would dollar for dollar reduce the funds available to each municipality and each county in the state to provide the services that it affords its residents, businesses, and visitors, unless a new and untested method for redistributing some new and untested source of income is devised. It's a zero-sum game. Longboat Key is not unusual in that we receive most of our revenues from property taxes, and most of that revenue supports our fire, EMS, police, finance, and planning departments, and the rest funds our parks, roads, beaches, and IT, with all its new demands from ransomware and AI. The list goes on. Each of these functions is essential, and each was tested beyond its limits by the storms of last year, leaving substantial gaps in reserves that we and our neighbors are still struggling to fill. No one likes to pay taxes, and voters, given the choice, could very well choose to reduce them, but no one can afford to do without the critical local government services we provide. And how do you clearly explain that aspect of this choice in one sense on a ballot? I'd like to also say the Minnesota League of Cities was unable to appear here today. They feel the same way as this, so I'm going to give that as well. I'm going to give you, just very quickly if I might, our local wish list has two things. 5.5 years we've been planning to replace our under the bay sewer line. We're going to start construction this coming year. It's a $30 million project. The state's already given us some support. We have an additional $33 million in the hopper for pipe repairs. So if you could help us with that as you see it come up, and if we need any help getting the SRF funding for the balance of the project, our ratepayers and taxpayers are paying the rest. So thank you very much. Appreciate your service.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'm glad you brought up property taxes.
Biggie.
That's a big issue. That may be the biggest issue of the 26th legislative session. And just like with the port bill we voted on, I want to hear from everyone on that, because you're right. There are bills that have been filed in the House. I would expect them to start moving, and so this conversation is going to be started on the House side. So I would like to folks to reach out to our offices and let us know what you feel about those bills. Like you said, they start at full repeal with school taxes and law enforcement being exempted all the way to what I'll call nibbling around the edges. So I'd love to hear from everyone in this room and folks that are watching.
And it's not only what the bills say, it's the way they're presented, because obviously in almost any form this takes, it would need to go to a constitutional amendment. And being able to present the options to the public in a way that they can understand, and they understand the nature of the choice, is going to be so critical in how it ends up. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. City Commissioner Carol Whitmore here on behalf of the City of Holmes Beach. Hello.
I never thought I'd be up here again. Thank you and congratulations to everybody. I'm representing, as you know, Holmes Beach now, and you do have our legislative priorities in front of you. And the only couple things I want to touch on, the mangrove protection. We support legislation to review and revise the mangrove statute, and in particular, strengthening enforcement and fines. I think we need to look at that. As you know, our island is a mangrove. It was formed on a mangrove. As far as what the mayor just said about the taxes, I agree. I know you're going to try to find a creative way to maybe drop property taxes, but I've heard at one point you were looking at tourist tax. Not every county in the state collects tourist tax. So then that means what we're going to receive may be thinned out. So please look twice about that. Most of you know, cities and counties rely on property taxes to function. So that's going to be interesting to see how you can do that. I also wanted to bring up home rule. We're a small city, but we do get elected by our citizens, and we're the closest person to our citizens. So we ask that you look at weakening our home rule, just like you wouldn't want to be weakened on what you do by Washington. So hopefully you'll look at that. We are asking, we did not send any letter to you on Senate Bill 180. I just wanted to make that clear. City of Holmes Beach decided not to. We are asking for an appropriations this coming year. As you know, we were devastated. I've lived out on the island since '69, and it's the worst that I or anybody that is alive today can remember. It was terrible. And actually 7 houses around me still haven't moved in their house yet in my block. So it's pretty rough, and we're trying to recuperate. We do need funding for stormwater, as you can imagine. And we are going to have a 2-year ask. We're going to ask this year for funding, and it's the area around West Coast Surf Shop, Public Beach, the old Gulf Drive. A lot of you know where that is, and the main thoroughfare at East Bay. We need to get some infrastructure there for drainage projects. And so our lobbyist, Andrew, and also Sean Foster will be talking to you regarding that issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
No questions?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The Manatee County Chamber of Commerce. I see Casey Welch walking up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, delegation members. Representing the Legislative Committee of the Chamber today, and I appreciate seeing some of my predecessors on this panel. I want to talk about, we're working through the Legislative Committee process right now, and we're hoping to make our annual trip to Tallahassee the second committee week in December to meet individually with you to go over those points. It seems like a very long time ago that we had our pancakes and politics, and it doesn't seem like we'll have time to have our next pancakes and politics by the time the legislative session rolls around in January. However, I've been talking to Jack, and we may have a panini and politics kind of luncheon, so we'll work on that with you all if that works. One of the biggest issues we've been talking about has obviously been coming up today on the legislative committee is the property tax reform, and we're hoping to come up with a recommendation from the chamber to support the business community on that issue, because we know that's going to take up a lot of oxygen, and we look forward to talking to you all for that. So I want to give a shout out to you all staff and to you all for your service, and just look forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Lakewood Ranch Business Alliance, Brittany Lamont. Good morning. Followed by Moat Marine.
Hello. Good morning, Chairman Robinson and members of the delegation. My name is Brittany Lamont, and I'm the president and CEO of the Lakewood Ranch Business Alliance. First off, congratulations, Senator Boyd. We are sure proud of your representation. And also shout out to Zahid for the coordination of today. We really appreciate it. Want to thank you for your continued support of the business community. Similar to what Casey mentioned, the Alliance has already hosted its first roundtable with Representative Connerly in regards to property tax, but obviously monitoring other things such as infrastructure and transportation, as we are the fastest growing master plan community out in Lakewood Ranch. So we represent over 750 businesses, and we look forward to seeing you in mid-November when we make our legislative trip as well. So thank you again for your support.
Thank you. Moat Marine Laboratory, Dr. Michael Crosby, followed by State College of Florida.
Good morning, Chair Robinson, President-elect Boyd. Real pleasure to be up with you in Tallahassee for that election. Very proud of you, as are everyone in our community. Representative Owen Connerly as well. I'm here to show gratitude and respect for all of the support that you all have provided to Moat over the years. Our serial disruptors and innovative scientists and engineers could not do the research that they are doing to address the challenges and opportunities of our coastlines and oceans here in Florida without your support. So we're deeply appreciative of that. Really want to thank again Senator Boyd and Robinson, especially for your help recently with the Seagrass program, getting that off and running, as well as Moat C, which we've just opened up and is a real boom for our entire community here. We'll meet with you all in Tallahassee to talk about our priorities, which will include technology transfer to our agriculture community of sustainable aquaculture, and some very interesting stock enhancement and shark depredation activities as well. We'll continue our red tide mitigation program, our seagrass restoration program, and I may have to call on you all for a little bit of assistance, but hopefully by the time I see you in Tallahassee it will be addressed. But we're running into some procedural bureaucracies within a state agency that has prevented the funding that had been allocated for this current year's red tide funding to get to Moat, for us then to distribute out to all of our partners. And this has caused us to not be able to respond to a couple of small red tide events in the state of Florida. Hopefully, we're going to get that resolved before I see you. But I'll yield back I was going to yield back my remaining time to you. But thank you all so much for your support.
Senator Boyd.
Thank you. I'll be brief, but I just want to congratulate you on Moat C. What a phenomenal teaching facility. And I mean, Moat Marine, we are so blessed to have Moat Marine in our community. World-class research, world-class scientists under your direction that are making differences in so many life applications across the world. But Moat C is, if you haven't been out there, our friends, get out there and look at it and enjoy it and visit. It is truly the new gym in our community, and so proud of it and so thankful for the hard work that you and your team put into making it happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator. If I may, just in response, it took the whole community to make this happen. We're very, very grateful for all of your support, but the support of the entire community. Over 70,000 K through 12 students every single year are going to be able to utilize those STEM teaching labs absolutely free of charge. And the 24,000 Title I students in Sarasota and Manatee County every year are going to get a day pass for them to come to Moat Aquarium, to Moat C, with their entire family free of charge. So this is how we're giving back to the community as well. So thank you all very much for your support.
And Dr. Crosby, I know you won't do this, but please don't wait to see us in Tallahassee if you have bureaucratic nightmares. It's one of our specialties of solving that. Please call us immediately.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
State College of Florida. Ms. Smith, I believe you're here for President Gregory.
Good morning, Chairman and Delegation. I would bet you $5 million Mr. Gregory would prefer to be here if he could this morning. I just want to first start and thank Senator Boyd and Representative Robinson for carrying SCF Parish through the finish line, that $9 million. We are breaking ground this Thursday. The community, which has been asking and begging for this and wanting updates for the last 10 years, is finally getting that shovel in the ground. So thank you so much, and Robinson, I appreciate you being willing to be there and speak on the behalf. So. In addition to that, we want to say we are going to be requesting $5 million for the second phase of SCF Parish, which is a collegiate school to put on that campus, so that those that are attending the high school right across the street have direct access to a college degree, graduate in the same week with their high school diploma and a degree. You can't beat that, and all at an affordable cost. Lastly, as you know, President Gregory is pleasantly persistent. We are seeking $5 million of the $17 million we are needing to fully fund our operations so that we can continue to graduate. We're celebrating 65,000 plus alumni, including some that are sitting on this panel, as well as many of the leaders you heard speak today. With that, if you have any questions, but otherwise, again, we thank you always for your support and for being responsive to the college.
And the public hears dollar amounts and say, oh gosh, well really a lot of that is about equity. If one college university is getting this, we want to make sure we're getting our fair share. So a lot of that is about inequity that SCF has suffered over the past several weeks or years, and trying to correct that.
You are absolutely correct, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
New College of Florida.
Good morning,
Oh,
Mr.
good
Chair,
morning.
Mr. President, Delegation. My name is Sydney Gruters. I'm the Vice President of Advancement and the Executive Director of the New College Foundation. We appreciate the opportunity to be here with you today. President Corcoran sends his regards, he is unable to attend as we currently have Governor DeSantis on campus. The president wanted me to share some overall successes of New College over the past 3 years, a period of truly transformative growth for the institution. We have achieved 3 consecutive years of record new student enrollment, with over 300 new freshmen and transfer students matriculating annually in 2023, 2024, and 2025. Our total enrollment has reached a record 918 degree-seeking students, both undergraduate and graduate. Student retention has increased by 11% year over year. We've boosted transfer enrollment by executing 17 agreements with Florida State colleges. We've successfully initiated the Logos Techne core curriculum, which emphasizes a classical liberal arts focus. We've established 2 new master's programs, Marine Mammal Science and a Master's in Educational Leadership. Between fall of 2023 and fall of 2025, the college successfully hired 52 new professors, securing top talent. Our foundation is stronger than ever, which speaks directly to our supporters' confidence in the new direction of the college. The New College Foundation endowment has grown significantly from $42 million to over $53 million. We've recorded 3 of the top 10 donations in the school's history within the last 2 years. Deferred maintenance has been reduced by 75%, with $15 million invested in vital campus enhancements. New College has taken decisive action to lead on critical issues, setting a new standard for higher education. We've launched 20 new sports teams and secured NAIA membership, transforming the student experience. New College was the first in the nation to abolish DEI office and is the only school in the nation to discontinue gender studies degrees, effectively changing the campus culture and ending indoctrination. Our growth is a commitment to excellence and being nationally recognized. We invite you all on campus November 19th for the grand opening of the Freedom Lincoln Diaz Balart Park. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. University of South Florida. Followed by Peace River, Minnesota Regional Water Supply Authority. Good morning, sir. Go Bulls.
Good morning, Chair Robinson and members of the Manatee County Legislative Delegation. My name is Brett Kemker. I'm the Interim Regional Chancellor for the University of South Florida, Sarasota, Manatee. On behalf of President Rhea Law and our Board of Trustees, I want to thank you all for your continued support of USF. You probably read recently that our Presidential Search Committee announced that they have selected one finalist to be the next president of USF, Dr. Moez Lamayam. Dr. Lamayam was Dean of the USF Muma College of Business until 2022, when he was selected to be the president of the University of North Florida. I worked with President Lamayam during his past stint at USF, and he will be an energetic leader who is committed to continuing USF's trajectory in rankings. Speaking of which, USF rose to number 43 among all public universities and up 2 spots from last year and inside the top 50 for the 7th year in a row, according to U.S. News and World Report's annual rankings of the best colleges. Also, the USF Health Mersani College of Medicine is ranked number 1 in the state and among the nation's top tier by U.S. News and World Report. At the beginning of this fall semester, we opened the Bellini College of Artificial Intelligence, Cybersecurity, and Computing, which is the first of its kind in Florida and the nation. Over this summer, our Board of Trustees approved a new 7,000 square foot STEM lab facility on the Sarasota Manatee campus. This building will be constructed using already approved state, federal, and USF funds. We're planning a groundbreaking ceremony, of which you're all invited, on November 19th. We plan to open these new labs to students for fall of 2027. Having a preeminent research institution in our backyard supports local employers in meeting critical workforce needs in strategic areas such as nursing, allied health, and education, while providing ongoing partnership opportunities for the community and our talented students.
Can you wrap it up, Dr. Kemper, please? Can you wrap it up, please?
Yes, I will. Thank you. I look forward to working with you all during the upcoming 2026 legislative session. Thank you very much for your time and continued support. Go Bulls.
Thank you. Peace River, Minnesota Regional Water Supply Authority, followed by the Tampa Bay Estuary Program.
Good morning, Mr. Chair,
Good morning.
delegation members. I'm Richard Anderson. I'm with the Peace River, Minnesota Regional Water Supply Authority. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. I want to first thank you for your service. Senator Boyd, congratulations on your designation again. Just want to take a few minutes to talk to you about what I feel is our most important resource, and that's a safe, resilient drinking water supply. As you all have heard in the past, the authority supplies about 30 million gallons of drinking water to the region, which is about 40% of the drinking water supply to this 4-county area. 2 minutes isn't a lot of time, so I'm not going to get into the details of our legislative request today, but I would like to give you a quick update on the status of our regional projects that you have been supporting and kind of tell you how we are investing your funds back into this community. We have 2 large diameter transmission pipelines totaling about 20 miles. Since we met last in February at the previous delegation meeting, our 3C pipeline was commissioned in June and is now serving water to the northern Sarasota area, Lakewood Ranch area, Fruitville Road, and Lakewood Ranch area. Our 2B pipeline, which serves Charlotte County and southern Sarasota County, which is Welland Park and the city of Northport, is about 60% complete with 7 miles of pipe in the ground. Our water supply projects are on schedule. The designs are complete, and we're about to start construction in January of a 9 billion gallon reservoir and 24 million gallons of treatment. Working through permitting, which is always a challenge, and our goal is to get these projects operational by 2028. So again, I just want to thank you for your support over the years. Your help has been invaluable in keeping these projects on track, making them a reality. They support growth and directly benefit the citizens of the region. I have some leave-behinds I left at the desk. If you have trouble sleeping, these do work. So take a chance to look at it. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Tampa Bay Estuary Program, followed by Alzheimer's Association.
Good morning, and I'm so sorry you've had to see me so many times, Representative, but thank you for allowing us some time to speak. Tampa Bay Estuary Program is a special political district of Florida that covers the whole region, including a large part of Manatee County. You have a digital version of our State of the Bay, which I've already emailed to y'all, but I'm also going to follow up by mailing that to you, as well as some information on some of our granting programs. The highlights are we need investment in infrastructure that's really aging in Florida, and we need to address extreme impacts from extreme weather. But the one thing I wanted to mention to y'all today is we're here to ask for your help with Florida Department of Transportation. We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for some of these major infrastructure projects that are coming up, that we're planning for now, that are be happening in the next 10 and 20 years. We need to make sure that environmental protection is one of the top priorities for considerations for those projects. Currently, congestion obviously important, cost obviously important, other aspects as well. But we need to make sure that, for instance, causeways provide enough openings for tidal circulation to create a healthier water quality environment in Tampa Bay. So that's one of the primary issues we need your assistance with at this point. I'm happy to set up a meeting with y'all individually, with our executive director, to talk more about that and how that might work moving forward. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Alzheimer's Association, I see Doug and Michelle Hall, followed by NAMI, Sarasota, and Manatee.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, distinguished members of the board. Thanks for having us this morning. We appreciate the opportunity to address you today. I am one of the many faces of Alzheimer's. My name is Doug Hall. I'm a caregiver for my wife, Michelle. Michelle, as you know, was general counsel for the Manatee County Sheriff's Office for about 10 years, and then she experienced some symptoms and was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's disease in 2020 at the age of 53. I know many of you have been touched by the realities of Alzheimer's and dementia. over 580,000 Floridians are living with Alzheimer's disease, including an estimated 13,600 here in Manatee County, which is 11.5% of our over 65 aged population. You've all been strong supporters historically of the Alzheimer's Association and disease and related efforts, and we appreciate that very much. Due to your commitment, Florida has proven to be a leader in dementia care and support. With our aging population, we have to maintain this momentum. We've made some good progress. We're proud to advocate alongside the Alzheimer's Association, and we remain optimistic as we propose our 2026 priorities. Raising awareness about what to look for and when to seek medical advice is essential. We're advocating for $1.5 million to fund a comprehensive statewide public health awareness campaign that leverages multiple media platforms. It's time to break through the stigma surrounding this disease. We now have FDA-approved blood tests, which is a huge advance, to aid in the diagnosis and treatments that can slow the progression of Alzheimer's by reducing amyloid plaque in the brain. Yet Florida remains one of the few states that has not yet invested in a public awareness campaign, and the time to change that is now. Second, we must do more for Florida caregivers. We have over 870,000 dementia caregivers, and over 66% of these individuals in Florida are managing their chronic conditions. Dementia care navigation and respite services are critical programs that link caregivers to get desperately needed support throughout their journey. These services also work to allow the individual living with Alzheimer's or dementia to stay at home within their community. We're asking the Florida legislature to codify the Florida Alzheimer's Center for Excellence program, and we're seeking an increase in the funding of the ADI campaign. Finally, we ask the legislature to continue to support the Alzheimer's Brain Bus. This mobile outreach program travels throughout the state, providing information on brain health, warning signs, and resources. Through support and funding from the legislature, the Brain Bus has been able to travel to all 67 counties this past year. So those are our priorities. We appreciate your time and appreciate your ongoing support. You've been very supportive every year. We thank you very much.
Well, God bless you, Doug and Michelle. And it's just amazing that you're taking a terrible illness and you're using it as a platform for advocacy. And we love seeing you up in Tallahassee. It's making a difference. And I talked to the Secretary of Aging last week about codifying the very bill you talked about, Doug. And I'm hopeful that we'll get those priorities through. And it's because the advocacy like you're showing that we're accomplishing that. So thank you.
Right. Thanks for your support.
NAMI of Sarasota, Manatee, followed by Stand for Health Freedom.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the delegation. My name is Sonia Johnson, and I'm the Adult Peer Programs Manager at NAMI of Sarasota and Manatee Counties. Thank you for the opportunity to share about how your investment in peer support is improving the lives of individuals and families right here in Manatee County. Through our peer navigation and support program and Parents for Parents, we are helping struggling families with substance misuse or mental health challenges by connecting them with peers who have similar lived experience. In our peer navigation program, we are partnering families with youth peers and parent peers to help them develop healthy coping skills, develop natural support systems, and create action plans that help them to achieve and sustain lasting recovery. In our Parents for Parents program, we are helping parents who are navigating the child welfare system by connecting them with a parent who has lived experience navigating that system themselves. We support them during and after court hearings and other case-related meetings. We help them to develop their natural supports and create community connections, help them plan for reunification, and achieve lasting recovery. In all of our programs, we offer educational classes and support groups to show people that they're not alone and recovery is possible. And it's working. This past year, NAMI has served over 500 individuals and families, saving taxpayers an estimated $545,000. But beyond the numbers are the stories. And due to our limited time today, I'm not going to go over the stories with you, but in your handout, you will see that there's a couple of stories in there at the bottom. But the most important thing that I want to share is that these are real people that are making real progress in their life. And it's because a NAMI peer reached out to them and said, hey, you're not alone. I've been there before, and I want to walk beside you as you work on making these changes in your life. Your continued support makes this possible. So thank you so much for believing in us and standing with us as we help individuals and families here in Manatee County. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Stand for Health Freedom, followed by Charter Communications. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Bailey Kirkendall. I'm the Operations Director and the Florida State Director for Stand for Health Freedom. I've been coming to these meetings for almost 10 years now, and we're proud of the work that we have accomplished. We have fought the removal of religious exemptions and won. We've defended parental rights year after year. We've stopped vaccine passports. Last year, we safeguarded our food and water supply by removing fluoride and banning weather modification. Florida has led with courage, conviction, and common sense. But one major issue remains and unresolved. The state still mandates vaccines for children to attend school. Medical mandates undermine informed consent. They turn a natural right into a government-granted exemption that can be revoked, which we have seen happen in other states. A no mandates policy rests on a simple principle. Medical procedures must never be forced. No one should be required to take a vaccine, treatment, or test as a condition of work or education or participation in society, as we saw with COVID. This is not a rejection of medicine, it's a defense of the right to choose. Informed consent means people must have access to accurate, unbiased information so that their decisions are truly voluntary. When choice replaces coercion, trust grows. And trust is the foundation of real public health. And let me be clear about what these policies do not do. They do not stop anyone from getting vaccinated. They do not limit the state's ability to educate or protect during outbreaks. They do not weaken public health. They strengthen it by putting consent back where it belongs, in the hands of the people. Other countries like Sweden, Norway, and Japan maintain vaccination rates above 90% without mandates. Voluntary systems work because citizens respond to transparency, not threats. In fact, research shows that mandates can backfire. Some people resist them out of an act of defiance. A free society depends on the belief that citizens are capable of making responsible decisions for themselves and their families. Protecting the right to say no is essential to preserving the integrity of a yes. Florida has led before. Please support Surgeon General Latipo's no mandates bill this year and help Florida lead once again. Thank you.
Thank you. Charter Communication. Mr. Garcia, followed by Florida Guardian ad litem.
Good morning, Chair Robinson, future Senate President Boyd, my former boss, Rep. Owen, and Rep. Connerly. Good to see you gentlemen this morning. I oversee local government affairs for Spectrum by Charter Communications in Florida's West region. And mine's going to be short and sweet today, to be honest. And I just want to start out with gratitude to this delegation for your commitment to expanding broadband access to all Manatee and Florida residents. State initiatives like the Broadband Opportunity Program and Broadband Infrastructure Program have empowered Spectrum to connect thousands of Floridians and small businesses to high-speed internet, TV, voice, and mobile services. Second, thank you for your focus on practical, common sense solutions that have made this access for your constituents possible. The passage of HB 703 is a prime example of that. By addressing the costly and unpredictable burden of forced utility relocations, the legislature has empowered our industry to provide improved planning timelines and has created stronger collaboration with state and local partners. Again, thank you for your leadership, your meaningful investments, and your thoughtful policy making. Your work is helping more Floridians get connected and stay connected. I wish you all a successful session and look forward to seeing you all up in Tallahassee. Thank you very much for your time.
Florida Guardian ad litem, followed by Big Waters Land Trust.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the delegation. I apologize about my voice. So I'm Tony Latorte with the Florida Guardian ad litem office, Circuit 12. Just going to tell you a little bit about what we do, some success, and our two priorities. The Guardians ad litem assigned by the Florida Guardian ad litem office represent Florida's abused, neglected, and abandoned children in both court and the community. They are appointed by a judge after a child enters the dependency system. Every child appointed to the Florida Guardian ad litem office is assigned a Guardian ad litem attorney to represent the child's independent legal interests, a child welfare professional, and if available, a volunteer or pro bono attorney from the child's community. This team-based representation model is considered national best practice. Our legal representation protects and advances the rights of children whose age and circumstances prevent them from making decisions for themselves. Our office is the only party in a dependency case that owes a duty of undivided loyalty to each child represented. In 2024, the statewide guardian ad litem office represented 31,622 children across Florida. Last year marked the first time in office history that we had sufficient resources to have every child in Florida represented by a guardian ad litem, and we are pleased to report that this has continued. I'm going to jump to our priorities because of the time. As we look ahead to the upcoming legislative session, we respectfully request your continued support in two key areas. While we are grateful for the support provided in recent sessions, we anticipate requesting salary adjustments in the upcoming budget. Our staff salaries have not kept pace with those at comparable state agencies, and we are increasingly challenged by staff being recruited elsewhere. We are doing everything possible to retain experienced, mission-driven professionals and continue delivering high-quality legal representation to Florida's children. We also seek increased budget authority to allow our office to draw down additional federal Title IV-E funds. This will help offset state costs, and ensure we are maximizing available federal resources to support our ongoing work. I thank you for your service to our community.
Thank you. Big Waters Land Trust.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you about the importance of protecting Florida's land and water for the benefit of people and nature, and for your past support of the Land Acquisition Trust Fund. Funding through Florida Forever and the Rural and Family Lands Protection Program has truly benefited our region, and because of time, I'm going to get straight to the point. For 2026, we respectfully ask that $300 million from the Land Acquisition Trust Fund be appropriated to Florida Forever, Florida Communities Trust, and the Rural and Family Lands Protection Program. Our way of life depends upon it. The impacts of Hurricanes Debbie, Helene, and Milton remind us why conservation is crucial. Protected rural lands absorbed floodwaters, while mangroves and natural coastal areas reduced storm surges. Though some areas sustained damage, these native habitats are resilient and will recover. But we still have more work ahead. With thousands relocating to Florida each day, development is quickly growing, which is a laugh. It's exceedingly fast. We need to be strategic about where we build, ensuring people's safety and protecting lands identified through Florida Forever, our state's leading conservation and recreation program. It safeguards water resources, boosts coastal resilience, preserves cultural sites, increases recreational areas, and restores natural lands. Collaborations with local governments and nonprofits like Big Waters help extend state funds and cut management costs. In Manatee County, many properties remain on or are proposed for the Florida Forever acquisition list. Protecting these areas will safeguard our waters, provide outdoor recreation, and strengthen local communities. Big Waters Land Trusts and our supporters urge you to continue funding conservation at priority levels. These lands drive Florida economy, protect our drinking water, reduce flooding, and sustain our farms and ranches. Thank you.
Thank you for what you do, and please pass along to Ms. Johnson
I will.
our sincere thanks. I have a personal connection to your organization. You were called the Conservation Foundation at one point, so you have a name change. Folks out there may not know it, and you help facilitate the acquisition and preservation of some of our most sensitive environmental lands that's so necessary for future generations in our area. So thank you for all you do, and we'll see what we can do.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you. I think we've already heard from at least Mayor Schneier from the Manatee League of Cities. Or Minnesota League of Cities? Was there anyone else here speaking on their behalf? I think we kind of heard quickly from their priorities, but we'll certainly follow up on those. Operation Warrior Resolution. Kendra Simpkins, welcome.
Hi, good morning, Chairman,
Morning.
Delegation. I'm Kendra Simpkins, the CEO and founder of Operation Warrior Resolution, or OWR. We're a leading mental health provider for veterans in Manatee County. And it's incredibly special for me to stand here today in front of all of you and express my appreciation for your dedication and your efforts to provide these vital services. We're on track to serve 400 this year, and with our new facility, now in Representative Connerly's district, we're going to double programming next year. And I'm incredibly grateful to you, Senator Boyd, and Representative Robinson, Chairman Robinson, for providing that opportunity. Our workforce program has been incredibly successful. We're providing mental health support before they go into workforce training, ensuring successful employment, and that's thanks to you, Representative Owens. And today I have Donald Payton here. He's a U.S. Army veteran that came to us through the Manatee County Vet Court, and he's one of the veterans that you've helped us serve.
So on September 13th, 2023, I was arrested. I was homeless. I lived in a tent. Manatee County Sheriff's Office pulled me out of the woods. December of 23, I got into drug court where I met them. And April of 2025, I got my Class A CDL. And through the job that I have, I now make over $100,000 a year. I could not have done it without their help and the support and the funding that they get. It's been absolutely amazing. My quality of life is, I mean, I can't even explain to you how thankful I am for organizations like this. And that's why I'm here today. I have my own home now. It's not a tent anymore. And I'm just so grateful. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for doing what you do.
Absolutely. Great. Senator Boyd.
I can share with you these stories of the veterans and what their experience is and what you help us do. But coming here and hearing it from Donald, I think you hopefully will truly understand the impact of what you're helping us do.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I was just going to simply say, Donald, congratulations. That is a phenomenal story. And thanks to your organization, more stories like that we'll hear year after year. So proud of you and being willing to take the tough steps to do what you've done and what you're accomplishing is just incredible. So kudos to you and certainly kudos to your organization. I know I can speak on behalf of everybody. We're certainly happy to support great efforts like that because it changes lives and that's what matters.
Absolutely. Thank you both. God bless. Step Up for Students, followed by Manatee Habitat for Humanity.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Leslie Coker, and I live in Palmetto in Senator Boyd and Representative Robinson's district. I'm here today to tell you about my family's education choice journey. My husband and I have two school-age children, Paul and Kai. Both Paul and Kai have radically different unique abilities. Kai has autism and PTSD from his time in foster care, and Paul has ADHD, anxiety, and dyslexia. Where one thrives, the other struggles. I'm grateful to be a stay-at-home mom, but living as a single-income household hasn't always been easy. Fortunately, we discovered the Step Up for Students scholarship for unique abilities. The financial help from the scholarship allowed us to pursue the educational opportunities for our children we otherwise wouldn't have been able to afford. Kai goes to a small private hybrid school 3 days a week, and we homeschool him the other 2. It is a perfect fit for him, and because we have scholarship money left over after tuition, we put it back into the local community at other educational providers. Kai loves participating in plays at the Manatee Performing Arts Center. He also plays basketball and flag football. He is always reading a book and often listening to an educational podcast. His hunger for learning knows no end. Kai wants to be a zoologist when he grows up and work at a zoo as an animal keeper. Paul attended the same school as Kai for pre-K and kindergarten. He struggled both academically and emotionally. His mind raced with creative ideas, constantly sketching pictures over his worksheets. When he finally was able to pay attention, his dyslexia created a new challenge for him. He came home defeated and exhausted. Learning is a natural desire within every child, but we were watching Paul's quickly fade away. We decided to bring him home and homeschool him full-time. This is our second year homeschooling him. We have found the perfect tutor trained in dyslexia that comes to our home twice a week. We are able to purchase curriculum and can afford in-home classroom items that help with his sensory needs. He draws for hours each day and enjoys taking art class at the Art Center of Manatee. He loves a good chapter book, and you're bound to find him in our sandbox creating intricate castles. Our family story is the definition of unique. We have seen Paul's love for learning returned. We use the Unique Ability Scholarship in 2 unique ways. However, their neurodivergence is not uncommon. The IEP system in traditional public schools is too overrun. In reality, there is very little individual attention to these individual education plans, leaving the teachers burnt out and the children in detention. I want to thank you all here today for supporting education choice and families like mine. We are living proof that education choice is working in Florida. When we invest in our children's potential, it changes lives. Please keep fighting for our kids in this community. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much for your testimony, and we're almost running out of things to do in Florida with school choice. We've done so much, and it's frankly some of the stuff that I'm the most proud of that we've done in the legislature. We passed an enormous universal school choice bill a couple years ago to empower parents and children that know what's best for them, what direction. I mean, I'm a product of traditional Manatee County school. That was best for me, but may not be best for you or your kids or other parents out there. So we'll keep fighting, but certainly let us know any ideas out there that we can do to improve our system as we move forward.
I will. So far, it's amazing. Like you're saying, you've made so many changes, and we're so grateful for everything we've been able to do with the scholarship. So thank you.
Great. Thank you. Manatee County Habitat for Humanity, followed by Pace Center for Girls. Manatee.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for all you do for us. I'm going to tell you a story this morning. Imagine a smart star athlete. She's a lifelong Manatee County resident. A high school sports injury not only sidelined her, but unfortunately sent her down the path of, guess what, opioid addiction and everything that goes with it. As she was leaving an abusive relationship, she discovered she was pregnant. The challenges continued: substance abuse, legal trouble, and eventually the heartbreaking separation from her daughter, who was put into foster care. Determined to reclaim her life and reunite with her daughter, she entered rehab and a 2-year program that included housing for women. She's since regained custody of her daughter and went back to college, and she now works at the Manatee Clerk of Courts and is preparing to enter law school. Amazing story. The final piece of that is the American dream. They are currently living in a very short-term rental, but she's rebuilding her credit with her financial education and building a new future for herself and her daughter by purchasing a Habitat home, and all of our homeowners benefit so much once they achieve the American dream. It's a true foundation for learning and thriving and growing as a family. High housing costs, unfortunately, make homeownership difficult for so many Manatee County families. The median cost of a Manatee County home in August was $467,000. At the current interest rates and with a 5% down payment, $3,346 a month. That's beyond her reach and so many others. Whereas anybody that buys today a new Habitat home, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, with our 0% mortgage, is going to pay about $1,100 a month, including taxes and insurance. Since COVID, when we were building 1 to 2 houses a year, we built 20 last year. That's 20 families that we helped. We hope that you will consider supporting an appropriation for us so that we can put more families in the best solution for any family, and that's a family-owned home. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pace Center for Girls, Manatee, followed by Aging and Disability Resource Center.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank
morning.
you so much for having us here today. We're so pleased to be here. Christy and I have been together here in Manatee County working at Pace Center for Girls for over 30 years. We're so excited for the continued support that you all give to us through our DJJ allocation, as well as school board funding, and for meeting with our girls at Pace Day at the Capitol. It is one of the highlights of the year. Some of those girls actually graduated this year and walked the stage, and we hope you'll make time for us again when we'll be there on February 10th of next year. Certainly, we are excited about our newest project. Amanda Horn and I hosted that first meeting in 2014 for that brand new building. Nothing goes quickly, but we are super excited and hope to have your support to finish that project off next year. We are equally as excited not only to have our middle school and our high school, but because of an investment from our community, we are launching our REACH program. We are hiring our first REACH therapist who will now be going into public schools and helping with the mental health issues that young ladies have so that they can stay mainstreamed in their regular school if they do not meet the 3 to 5 risk factors and have to come to PACE Center for Girls. We are really excited about that opportunity, and also want to remind you that this community is so supportive of PACE. In addition to our contracts with the Department of Juvenile Justice and our school board, we together raise over $800,000 annually in this community. That just speaks to the support that we have in our community, and we're so grateful for that.
Great. Thank you so much for all you do, and
Thank
you for coming this morning. Aging and Disability Resource Center, followed by Thousand Friends of Florida.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the delegation. My name is Kim Northup Wright, and I serve as the CEO of Senior Connection Center. We are one of 11 area agencies on aging in Florida, established by Florida Statute 430 and operating under the Department of Elder Affairs. Nice to hear that you met with Secretary Branham. Thank you for having that conversation. We serve 5 counties: Hillsborough, Highlands, Hardy, Polk, and Manatee. We coordinate, plan, and provide home and community-based services to seniors, adults with disabilities, and their caregivers. In 2024, Senior Connection Center and our network of providers provided over 1,229,000 home-delivered or congregate meals. We provided 130,356 hours of homemaking services, completed 39,952 rides to medical and other important appointments, provided 83,000 hours of personal care services, and our team took over 146,000 calls through the Elder Helpline. There are 3 key legislative priorities that the Department of Elder Affairs has identified and on which we seek your support. 1, an increase of $4 million in funding for home and community-based services, so 497 seniors on the statewide wait list can get enrolled in one of these programs. Manatee currently has 203 people on that wait list. Support an increase of $3 million in funding for the Alzheimer's Disease Initiative that specifically helps seniors living with dementia. This funding would allow us to serve approximately 200 more people on the statewide wait list. Manatee currently has 328 people on this wait list. Support an increase of $3.5 million in funding for unpaid family caregivers. This would allow us to serve approximately 1,300 more people on this wait list. Manatee has 793. These programs are cost-effective because they delay institutional care, which costs the state over $111,000 per person per year, while these programs provided by the AAAs cost an average of $6,700 per person per year. Thank you for your ongoing support of seniors in Florida.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thousand Friends of Florida, followed by Dorothy Rappaport.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Haley, I'm not in the County Commission. Members of the Manatee Legislative Delegation, good to see you all. My name is Haley Bush. I'm Outreach Communications Director for 1,000 Friends of Florida. We are a nonpartisan statewide smart growth organization advocating for environmental protection and sound community planning. You've already heard today about home rule. I'm here to address Senate Bill 180 and want to focus on how, in addition to breaching home rule authority, sections 18 and 28 specifically undermine every other local priority that Floridians and Manatee County residents care about. So we're talking when a region like Manatee is growing so fast, when communities need to tackle flooding, drainage, align new development with existing infrastructure capacity, improve roadway safety, or plan for their housing needs. They do it through updates to their comprehensive plan and land development codes. Those sections 18 and 28 freeze those updates for 3 years or more and invite lawsuits over anything deemed more restrictive or burdensome, which is quite vague language. This isn't a fight about whether to rebuild after storms. I agree with what was said earlier. The bill overwhelmingly is a good one. It's those problems with sections 18 and 28 that block the ordinary maintenance of the rules that keep growth predictable, protect property from avoidable flooding, and reduce taxpayer exposure to infrastructure and litigation costs. Markets need certainty. Senate Bill 180 does not do that when it comes to a community's ability to plan for its future. So we're here because we have not yet seen the repealer bill language addressing those sections. I understand it's in the works, but we want to stress the importance of getting those 2 issues addressed. So thank you for acknowledging the issue and looking forward to working with y'all. Thanks.
Thank you. Dorothy Rappaport, followed by the Central Florida Behavioral Health Network.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Dorothy Rappaport, and I am the parent of an 18-year-old son with autism spectrum disorder, Tourette syndrome, a mood disorder, and an intellectual disability. He has significant behavioral support needs. I'm here today to express my strong support for preserving the iBudget waiver and for keeping my son's waiver support coordinator. Not as a matter of convenience, but as a matter of safety, stability, and quality of life. A waiver support coordinator is more than a case manager on paper. For our family, she is the person who knows my son's behaviors, his strengths, his level of needs. She fights for timely authorizations and makes sure his group home, day program, and behavioral supports actually are following his person-centered plan. When a crisis happens, and they happen often, and with high behavioral needs, she is quick to respond with options to keep him safe and in the community. Without her guidance and coordination, my son could easily fall through the cracks of a complex system. Under the current managed care pilot, families like mine face a real risk of losing that vital continuity. Managed care networks limit provider choice, and many of the specialists and therapists who have worked successfully with my son are not part of those networks. Losing those trusted providers would not just be inconvenient, it could cause regression, behavioral escalation, and potentially dangerous situations. The waiver support coordinator is someone we can call anytime. With managed care, you get a 1-800 number. That may work for people without developmental disabilities, but for people with DD, they need someone who knows them and advocates for them. A managed care caseworker works for that company. The waiver support coordinator works for the client and their family. In addition, the managed care pilot does not offer the consumer-directed program. Managed care offers something called participant-directed option, which is nowhere near as flexible as the current CDC program under the waiver. For families with complex needs, the self-direction the CDC program offers is not a preference. It's a critical tool for maintaining safety, consistency, and trust. Removing the flexibility of CDC strips families of the ability to tailor services to their loved ones' unique needs. Managed care also introduces additional layers of prior authorization and administrative review. For individuals who require constant support, any delay or denial in services can have immediate and harmful effects. Even brief interruptions in staffing or therapy can undo months of progress and place both the individual and their caregivers at risk. That is why the iBudget waiver must always remain a protected choice within Florida's system. No family should ever be forced into managed care. The waiver model provides individualized, flexible, and person-centered supports that reflect the diversity of needs across our community. It is proven to work for those with the highest and most complex support requirements, and it must remain an option for those who depend on it. In closing, I ask that you not only preserve the iBudget waiver to ensure that every family continues to have access to dedicated waiver support coordination, true provider choice, and participant-directed services, but that you support it as a viable option. This past session, the legislature allocated funding only to the managed care program, not the waiver. That looks more like a transition. The waiver needs to be a viable option. It is what the families have been advocating for, it is what we want, and it is what we need. Thank you for your time and your commitment to protecting our most vulnerable citizens.
Thank you for your testimony. My office, and I may speak for all of us here, we've gotten a lot of calls about this. And the pilot program was passed last year. It covers our county and a few others around us. And it is definitely, my position is the same as yours. We need to keep the system optional. And you can stay with who you want, and your son can keep on the path that works best for him. And if there's any situation where you believe or you're being treated that you're being forced into managed care, please contact one of our offices. Give me a call. This issue is important to the Speaker of the House, and I will certainly talk to him personally about it. So please reach out to me and get my contact information for my legislative aide over there if you ever have any issues.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you. Central Florida Behavioral Health Network, followed by the Florida Retired Educators Association.
Good morning, distinguished members of Manatee County Legislative Delegation. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning. I am Erica Tarasovich-Polis, and I proudly represent Central Florida Behavioral Health Network, the largest and oldest managing entity for Florida. As your managing entity, we oversee approximately $300 million annually, serving Floridians in both treatment and prevention efforts. Established by Florida legislator, managing entities like Central Florida ensure that publicly funded substance abuse and mental health services are available to those who need them most. Our services span prevention, treatment, and recovery to include care coordination and wraparound services. These services have led to 93% of individuals not being readmitted to acute care settings. The vital work is possible because of your leadership and support, which includes the allocation of the $3 million in administrative dollars through the opioid settlement and the expansion of crisis services in our communities. In 2025, we focused on critical priorities, including housing initiatives, workforce development, school projects, and disaster relief. These efforts addressed pressing needs and assisted in building long-term solutions in our most vulnerable communities. I also want to highlight that we operate effectively and efficiently as your managing entity. Per statute, the allowable rate for administration is up to 5%. Central Florida maintains a significantly lower rate of just 2.67. This rate demonstrates our commitment to being the best value for Florida taxpayers while ensuring the safety and integrity of these essential services in our communities. Collaboration is at the heart of what we do. Across our extensive network of public providers and stakeholders, we work to meet the needs of Florida citizens and maximize limited resources each day. Thank you for your time, your partnership, and your unwavering dedication to improve the well-being of all Floridians. Thank you for your time.
Florida Retired Educators Association, followed by Manatee Patriots Tea Party Manatee.
Good morning. My name is Susan Daravec. I'm with Retired Educators Association. I know I've met with several of you in Tallahassee before. Our concern, the Florida Retired Educators' main priority this year is the COLA, the cost of living adjustment. Right now, in fact, since 2011, people in the FRS system have not been collecting a COLA on their retirement, and so they will finish their lives with whatever they retire with. The average retirement in the state of Florida for an FRS employee is only $25,000. If they live about 20 years, that's going to decrease to about 67% of its value, which is not a livable value. I think that reinstating the COLA makes sense both to the person involved and also to the state of Florida. About 87% of retirees remain in the state of Florida and spend those dollars right here in the state of Florida. I hope that this year we can look and see if there is any way to begin reinstating a COLA. Even a very minimal one would be helpful to all the retirees. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you again in Tallahassee.
Thank you. Manatee Patriots Tea Party Manatee. Mr. May, followed by Republican Liberty Caucus of Florida.
Good afternoon, evening, morning.
We're still at morning.
I'm sorry. It's I studied for a 3-minute presentation and I only get 2, so y'all are going to have to hear very quickly. Chairman Robinson, Representative Connerly, Owen, Senator Boyd. I've discovered that it would be proper to say Senator President Boyd, sir, and then that way Representative Robinson could correct how he addresses you. I'm here to gather folks who are as angry about this as I am, and that includes any of you guys too. And that's the fact that we are covering up the state of Florida with solar energy. You just heard from a lady that says, hey, we've got retirees out here who have issues. Right now, solar, on its best day, gives us 20% of our energy needs. That's on our best day. Tremendous cost. The thing that bothers me is that our monopolies, who are supposed to be a good deal for us, one of the ways that they make money is spending money on their infrastructure. They're guaranteed about 11%. When I was in business, before I retired, being a retiree, I would have loved to know that I could be guaranteed that. The problem is that if you spend $2.4 billion on solar, you can do and achieve the same thing with $400 million on a gas plant, on a 24/7 plant. Most people don't realize. They think solar's a great deal. It's green. We're just all being great for the environment. The fact is I think we're ruining Florida. Right now, the equivalent annual 1,000 megawatt continuous availability of energy, if provided by solar, which we only get 5 hours, again on a real bright and sunny day, takes 30,197. See, I knew. That's why I gave you guys the red packet, because I knew that I don't talk fast enough for you. So please, read the red packet. Folks, solar's bad. Nuclear energy is good. I expect that Representative Connerly will carry this to the end, because he's the only guy up here that understands it. Thank you all. Have a great day. Congratulations, Senator.
I was going to give you an extra minute, but never mind. Mr. Wright, good morning, and followed by
I'm prepared to talk for 2 hours, but I'll talk 2 minutes. In not 2 minutes, I'm only going to talk about 2 of the items that are on the 12 items on the one-page read-ahead you had. The most important thing you have is what you have in front of all of you, which is this handout. This is your homework to take a look at this. This is a predecessor to our lobby days, the third week in January, which we do every year. We'll be with you. My responsibility is to get in contact with your offices and with your peers to the south of here to set up time with you. The state will be contacting you in your new role to try to get some time with you, Senator Boyd. We'll try to do that. So there's only 2 things, and these 2 things are 2 bills. We have had folks up in Tallahassee now, and then when Bob White returns from Jamaica doing missionary duty down there in a week, he will be taking us back up in Tallahassee, these 2 bills. We're still looking for sponsors. What we're asking is for you to either co-sponsor or should the time come, to vote for these bills. The first bill, and I'll just stick to the pertinent language. Any person, political committee, electioneering communications organization, or candidate may not use or cause the use of any photograph, picture, likeness, video, or other facsimile representation of any individual in any political advertisement or electioneering communication without the express written consent of the individual. You know what I'm talking about. Last election, we had all those fake voter guides going out there. Already, I've started receiving campaign notices in the mail for the 2026 elections, implying implicitly that so-and-so is supporting me, or the Republican Party or the Democratic Party is supporting me. That is an implicit lie, and we need to put an end to that. So that's the first of the 2 bills. The second one is one that we have championed for over a decade now. We came close last session, but we couldn't take the next step, which is going to take the most courage to do this. We have got to stop the legal laundering of campaign cash. And what do we mean? The transfer of money from one PAC to another. That is one of the key things there. And then in closing, I'm going to take up one thing, the SB 180. I step away from calling it home rule because that doesn't carry the weight of the United States Constitution. What does is this. We want you to restore the will of the people. Right now in Manatee County, our Board of County Commissions cannot do what we the people elected them to do. Why? Because of the vague language contained in SB 180. It's an easy fix. Thank you very much for promising that you will be taking it up. Thank you, Representative Connolly, for understanding the vague language and for promising for championing a legislative reform. Don't let the legislators do it. Don't wait on the governor. You do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure. Senator Boyd.
Thank you. And I want to make clear, Colonel, that I said we promised you we were going to look at it. I'm not sure what the outcome will be because it requires a whole legislature, but it's an issue that we definitely, Senate Bill 180, those little glitches that I think Chair Cruz spoke to, about 5% of the bill, is something we need to look at, and we will definitely be looking at it. So, and then number two, even more important, I don't take a new role until next November of 26. Even then, I still represent our community. And you call our office, you call Kathy or Amanda in our office, and we will get you in any time to come see us. And we look forward to our friends coming to Tallahassee meet us. So you don't have to go through some channel. I know you, you know me, and I'm speaking generally to the audience. I'm still your senator, and without your votes, I wouldn't be your senator. So never hesitate to call us at our office, and we will make sure we make appointment time for anybody that needs it. So thank you.
We will.
Thank you, sir.
Joe McClash, followed by the League of Women Voters of Manatee County, followed by Uncontained 360.
Good morning again. I'm not going to repeat what's in front of you. This might sound a little harsh, but Senate Bill 180 was the ultimate betrayal to our Manatee County. You knew that last year this community sent a loud and unified message. They voted for restoring wetland protection, and you, as our senator, Jim Boyd, you really betrayed us with the passage of Senate Bill 180. If you break it, fix it. A simple bill to allow a person to rebuild their home after a hurricane, everybody could support. I think it's proper. But what was intended for that spiraled into this anti-local government, really Manatee County bill. It's been a trend for years, unfortunately, for the state to take away the powers of local governments. And it's really a betrayal of your constituents and your county. Now the ultimate threat to our government is take away their taxing powers. You take away taxing powers of the local community, then you're subject to state government. Just like all the people come in here and asking you for state money. You would have to increase the state taxes by almost 10% in some cases. And why? Republicans used to be for, like, the best government is closest to the people. We need to get back to that. So you need to repeal that section 18 and 28 of Senate Bill 180. When you read it, it's not fair for local governments to have to be underneath that threat. And then stop approving these bills aimed at removing local decisions. Why does the state know best? I mean, as county commissioner, you know that, we have a tough role. 22 years as a county commissioner, it's not easy. You can't see everything through the eyes of the county commissioners in cities. And I think we're on really, really dangerous territory here. But Senate Bill 180 really was a death blow to governing our local communities, in a way that's responsible for handling growth. Pass a simple bill,
Senator Boyd.
Yeah, before you go, I don't feel like I betrayed the community. I'm sorry you feel that way, Mr. McClash. I never once heard from you about this issue. I've been happy to talk. Let me speak. I've been happy to talk with you about it. I never once heard from you on it. I think you've heard all of us say there were some issues in Senate Bill 180 that we're going to try to fix. Your current county commission says 95% of it is acceptable. So give us a chance. Let us try to do what we said we would do. and if there's areas that we need to fix, we'll fix it. Enough said.
Thank you, Senator Boyd. I appreciate those comments, but we don't know what's going to happen at the last minute in Tallahassee, and we expect you to protect us from those last-minute decisions. From what I understand, a lot of the bad stuff happened at the last minute. I don't think you intended it that way.
Well, a lot of stuff happens at the last minute, good or bad.
Thank you. League of Women Voters of Manatee County.
Good morning, and thank you, Owen, Representative Connolly. Appreciate being able to meet with you again. My name is Ruth Heronshar, and I'm president of the League of Women Voters of Manatee County. The League, for more than 100 years, has had a mission to empower voters and protect democracy. There are other league members with me here today, and I'm here as their spokesperson to urge you, as our legislative delegation, to consider 3 issues. First, say no to mid-cycle redistricting. The Floridians overwhelmingly supported the Fair District's constitutional amendments in 2010 and sent a clear message to elected officials in Florida that district maps should be drawn fairly. Maps must not be drawn with the intent to favor or disfavor any political party or politician, and districts must follow existing political or geographic boundaries when possible, such as city or county lines. Florida families expect their elected leaders to focus on the kitchen table issues affecting their daily lives. However, redistricting is not free. The last statewide process cost Floridians millions in consultant hours, staff time, and new technology. Redrawing congressional districts in the middle of the decade on partisan grounds without new census data defies the will of the people and undermines the Florida state constitution. Second, say no to bills that make it harder to vote and register to vote. And third, say yes to fully fund elections administration. We ask legislators to ensure that the Secretary of State and local supervisor of elections have the necessary resources to run fair, secure, and efficient elections in each county. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Uncontained 360, followed by Paul Dutcher.
For the record, Glenn Gadfly Gibellina. Gadfly, a person who interferes with the status quo of society or community, posting novel, politically upsetting questions, usually to elected officials and authorities. That's you. So let's get to it. I strongly agree with most of the folks up here on Senate Bill 180. It's a disaster. You guys knew exactly what you were doing when you signed that through. That was a sweetheart deal for the developers, and we're all suffering by it. Our local officials know what's best for our county, not you guys. Let's talk about the homestead exemption. There's 7 bills up there. You guys, DeSantis hates that. You guys are trying to water it down so nothing passes. You should be ashamed of yourselves. We need 1 bill. Senior citizen, homestead it, no taxes. I'm 73. I've been paying real estate taxes for decades. I am homesteaded. And when you run seniors out of the county because of escalating real estate taxes, you have failed miserably at your job, and that needs to be fixed. 1 bill. Everybody's used to the homestead $25,000 exemption. Let's stick to it. Seaport Manatee, what a disaster. You guys want to go to a special district? Did we so soon forget about the $500,000 non-refundable loss we took by the old board that wanted to shove a $21 million project down our throats? Thank God the new board 86'd it. That's our local county commissioners should govern that board, because if DeSantis appoints them, Seaport's going to run rapid what they want to do. Bad deals, clouds in the title, contaminated land. It's terrible. Fix 180, go with 1 homestead bill, and don't make it a district. See, I beat you guys to it. And by the way, I do have solar. I am homesteaded. I'm at net zero, so I don't care what anyone does, with a 4-year payback.
Paul Dutcher, followed by Tom Sirit. I'm sorry, I mispronounced that last name.
Hello, Jim. My name is Paul Dutcher. I live here in Bradenton and part of Manatee County. Miss Felicity, from days of yours, here will make my statement for me. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Paul Dutcher, and I have mild cerebral palsy. That means I am considered developmentally disabled. I've spent my life working hard, often harder than most, to stay independent, to save, and to live with dignity. But I've also spent much of my life being taken advantage of and mistreated, including by family. At one point, my own aunts had me quit my job, move across the country, and then told me I had 30 days to get a job or find another place to live. Like too many people with developmental disabilities, I've been exploited simply because others knew I had limited options and no real protection. I'm not standing here just for myself, but for more than 100,000 Floridians with developmental disabilities who cannot speak for themselves. Florida's system for protecting vulnerable adults is broken. When I reported abuse, I was told by DCF workers that they would not investigate because I wasn't an APD client. Others told me we don't enforce those laws or we don't have time, our caseloads are too high. I've worked in this field for 28 years. I've written and helped many write Adult Protective Services reports in another state, reports about children being prostituted by parents, care homes abandoning disabled adults at 4 a.m., or facilities withholding food to save money. Those reports were always investigated. Here in Florida, mine wasn't even taken seriously, and that's unacceptable. I've visited local agencies, and many have quietly confirmed these same problems, but they can't act unless the abuse happens within their own programs. That means people are falling through the cracks every day. So I'm asking for your help to make real changes. Number one, every APS report must lead to a full investigation, not just of the victim, but also the reporter and anyone connected to the situation. Number two, mandatory reporting laws must be enforced. When therapists, doctors, or other professionals fail to report, there should be clear penalties. Number three, Florida needs transparency. Publish public data showing how many reports were made, how many were investigated, how many led to indictments or convictions. And number four, please fix the abuse hotline. 3 times I missed the only callback after reporting, and there's no way to call back. That's not protection, that's a barrier. A real system would allow return calls and require follow-up within an hour. These are simple steps that could save lives. People with developmental disabilities deserve to be safe, to be heard, and to live without fear of being ignored when they reach out for help. Thank you for listening and your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Tom Seifert, followed by Stephanie Seifert. Seifert, excuse me.
It's been over 5 years now since my 85-year-old mother-in-law, who had advanced dementia, was brutally raped in a local healthcare facility. And the only good thing about this disease, she never remembered what happened to her. But our family remembers it and lives through it every day. And, you know, we asked the facility 3 times to allow cameras. And we weren't even thinking of abuse. She was a flight risk. We wanted to make sure she was in her bed. We were denied. Detective told me that, you know, these sick people that do these kind of things look for nursing homes or healthcare facilities that specialize in dementia care and don't allow cameras. This is their dream job, guys, you know, and it's we've heard a lot of reasons from the delegates over the years we've been doing this, and some of the reasons have their merit. Privacy of the worker, privacy of the patient themselves, healthcare industry impact, insurance impact, and they all have their merits. But when you're there watching the physician examine your mother, black and blue pelvis, shaking their head in disbelief, somehow all these reasons don't matter. And I want you to imagine it's your mother. It's your wife. How many of these reasons would matter? And, you know, there's over 20 states that have passed this bill to have a right to have cameras in the rooms. And, you know, if it just saves 100, maybe 1,000, maybe even one person, one family going through this, would it be worth your support? Please consider. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Stephanie Seifert.
You got my name right.
Practice makes perfect.
Hang on, Zahid. Hang on. Let me get my paper. Hello. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me once again. I thank you for your years of service. I've been up on Tallahassee Hill, and I've seen you at work, and I know it's a busy place, and I know you're busy up there. Thank you for the time you've spent with me in your offices. As your constituent, and as a for-year advocate for vulnerable people in Florida, and for all of you, I am advocating. I implore you to hear my request, my plea, now my cry, which is on behalf of thousands of vulnerable citizens who are in their difficult end-of-life journeys and cannot self-protect, self-defend, nor self-advocate. When my 85-year-old mother, who was in the advanced stages of dementia, was sexually assaulted by an employee at a facility here in Bradenton, case number 2023-528, she could not self-protect, self-defend, nor self-advocate, but the facility did. They self-protected, they self-defended, and they self-advocated by saying, no, you cannot have a camera in this private room. Bisu Ikli lobbies for the nursing home industry because she pitches that people can choose where they want to go. When my mother had been taken out of the living room floor of a stranger's home by the sheriff's office to help us, they put her in the hospital. After a week, Manatee Memorial placed her in the facility. I didn't have a choice. I asked them 3 times to allow me a camera, and they said no, because the employee's privacy would be violated. I'm here to ask you to please fight for the patient, the vulnerable citizens in this state, and for everybody in this room and watching your videos, to have the undeniable right to install a camera to watch over themselves without the fear of eviction or retaliation from the home. Currently in the state of Florida, the home can say, no cameras here. And you can be evicted, or they can retaliate. Please, sirs, please represent my voice in Tallahassee. I am your constituent, and I'm advocating for vulnerable people. Senator Garcia and Rep. Placencia are drafting new bills for this year. They are making some edits to adjust and to address some of the issues of the committees. But I am asking for your personal support to advocate for us to just have a camera on ourselves, and all the issues are being addressed in the bills. But if I want to forfeit my privacy so that my family can advocate for me and protect me and watch, I deserve that right. That's my right. I pay for that place. It's my home, my apartment. As Rep. Barnaby said in the subcommittee hearing in February, he said it's their home. They live out their days there. They have the right to do what they want in that room. My mother was in a private room, in isolation, and she was raped. She was held down over the footboard of her bed, and the bruises indicated such. But the facility mishandled the report, and therefore the detectives couldn't be there in time, and we took her to the rape nurse 2 weeks after the incident. The DNA was gone. The employee is working somewhere. And as Mr. Seifert said, I'm sure people that want to do that to patients are looking for places that say no cameras here, and the patients aren't going to remember, so have at it. And that's what this man did to my mother. Please support Garcia and Placencia's bills this year. Please make it work. Please make it pass. Please. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming.
And please, let your senators
Elizabeth Arnold, followed by Mike Meehan. So Ms. Arnold here. Mike Meehan. Mr. Meehan here. Mr. Meehan is followed by Florida Life Care Residents Association. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Mike Meehan, Manatee County. I left this with the police officer that was standing there, and you should all have a copy of this.
We have it.
Thing.
Yep, we have it, sir. Thank you.
It's not too complicated. Appreciate you taking a look at it. Just a little bit of blue sky thinking about property tax relief in the state of Florida. Idea number 1 is to consider converting restricted funds to unrestricted status if they have not been spent within 5 years of receipt. If a fund becomes unrestricted, that fund can be used for any purpose. It's not restricted as to what it can be used for. Therefore, it can be used as a property tax rebate. So that's idea number one, converting restricted to unrestricted if they have not been spent within about a 5-year period. There's some other ideas, but I'm going to drop down to number 4, which is to commit 25% of Florida's 2024 surplus to a property tax rebate. This rebate check could become a regular annual feature of Florida's property tax relief, but would vary based on each year's surplus. For 2024, the cost of the program would have been $3.1 billion, which was taken from the $12.4 billion surplus for 2024. And each property taxpayer would have received a check for $620. So that's something you can do with your surplus, which was substantial in fiscal 24. Last idea, commit Florida reserves to the same maximum reserve ratio, 30%, that is imposed on the counties. Thus, Florida's cash position would be reduced by $10.8 billion, and this excess reserve would be sent as a check totaling $2,160 to each property taxpayer. This idea could also become a regular feature of Florida tax policy and would vary annually based on the cash amount above the maximum 30% ratio on Florida's balance sheet. So you can use your balance sheet to provide property tax relief. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Florida Life Care Residents Association, Freedom Village, followed by Suncoast Partnership to End Homelessness.
Good morning. Thank you for your time. My name is Bill Toomey, and I am the president of Chapter 111 of the Florida Life Care Residents Association at Freedom Village here in Bradenton. Freedom Village is a continuing care retirement community, a CCRC. Under Chapter 651 is governed by the Office of Insurance Regulation. My wife Ann and I are typical of the residents in such places. We're 85. We've been married 66 years. In 2014, we sold our home in Spring Hill and moved into Freedom Village. Our urgent concern is protection from owner bankruptcy, and as FLICRA has supported such legislation last year before the legislature, and OIR had a bill. There's going to be another bill this year from OIR, as I understand it. And Southeast Leading Age and FLICRA are trying to hammer out something. If that doesn't work, folks, we need you to do something, because if they can't work it out together, we still need support. Residents are in their 80s and 90s, and in University Village in Tampa went bankrupt. They lost everything. They not only lost their investment, they lost their home and were put out on the street. Their self-esteem, their control of their life, their friends, their community, all of that was gone. It's not just money. It's a lifetime and a sense of you don't control your own future. Tragically, OIR saw the bankruptcy in Tampa coming but couldn't fix it. They say they lack the authority to fix it. What we're asking is that you give OIR the authority to keep these things from happening and stopping another tragedy in Florida. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Suncoast Partnership to End Homelessness, followed by Lindsay Lee.
Good morning. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all today. My name is Taylor Neighbors. I am the CEO at Suncoast Partnership to End Homelessness. We are the lead agency to prevent and end homelessness in Manatee and Sarasota County. I would respectfully ask that you all consider the following priorities in your upcoming session, which the first being to maintain the current fiscal year funding for the recurring base budget homeless staffing grants. This enables not only our organization, but 28 other COCs in Florida, which receive about $180,000 to cover operational expenses to perform the necessary work to prevent and end homelessness throughout the state of Florida. Also to maintain the current fiscal year funding for the recurring base budget challenge grant, about $20 million. This flexible funding has enabled our community to prevent and divert folks from becoming homeless in the first place, as well as engage in early intervention to help those experiencing homelessness quickly resolve their crisis so they do not become long-term or chronically homeless. Additionally, the funds have been utilized to provide temporary bridge beds for our clients experiencing homelessness while they work with a case manager to get rapidly rehoused, as well as funding our coordinated entry efforts to assess, prioritize, and refer clients to housing programs. Make the $10 million non-recurring appropriation provided in the fiscal year 24-25 recurring for unsheltered individuals. These funds became available in response to House Bill 1365. In our community, these funds help provide mental health and substance misuse services, thank you Centerstone, and help cover the operating expenses at one of our local shelters. Housing is a solution to homelessness, so we kindly ask that you all appropriate all available affordable housing trust funds for their intended purposes. And we ask that you support legislation which would require state-funded organizations serving those who are homeless to participate in continuum of cares, as well as contribute to the COC strategic plan. This will result in better outcomes, as well as discharge planning to prevent those exiting from foster care, jails, from entering homelessness. This will allow us to increase data sharing, reduce duplication of services, and maximize the impact of funding. Thank you so much for the opportunity this morning.
Thank you. Lindsay Lee, followed by Lindsay McElwain. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Lindsay Lee. I'm a homeschool mom of 4, raising my children along the Myakka River, where our property backs to the north end of the Myakka State Park. I am also the Tampa Bay chapter leader for Florida Keepers and the founder of Sarasota Manatee Homegrown Market, which is a grassroots community of almost 4,000 people supporting local farmers and homesteaders in Myakka City. When I speak today, I am not just speaking as a resident. I'm speaking as a mother, a farmer, a small business owner, and someone who has dedicated my time to protecting our rural agricultural way of life, not just in our county, but across Florida. I'm here today because I am deeply concerned about the lack of protection on the Myakka River, particularly the stretch that runs through Manatee County, from the Myakka Head and the Flatford Swamp down to the Sarasota County line. When Sarasota County designated the Sarasota County portion of the river wild and scenic back in the 1980s, the Manatee County portion that feeds into the protected portion wasn't included because it was mostly ranch land at that time, but things have changed. Those ranches are now giving way to massive developments, including 2 golf courses that are literally pinching our river that feeds into the protected section, and you do have an aerial view of that in the packet that I gave him. Our local officials seem to know the danger this possesses, although I believe that protection provisions should have been put in place years ago, prior to the construction along our natural resources. And as constituents, we have brought this to their attention, but now under Senate Bill 180, specifically sections 18 and 28, their hands are tied when the impacts are obvious and urgent at this point. We recently have watched our river flood ranches and homes, not just from rainfall and hurricanes, but because of construction, dredging, and vegetation removal that have altered the river's natural flow. Yet when we ask for action, we are told that SB 180 limits what can be done at this point. When I began speaking out against overdevelopment, the lack of oversight, our blue-collar family was met with a lawsuit from a multimillionaire developer. And I'm not going to go into those details today, but I mention it because citizens should be able to voice concerns without fear of retaliation. If our elected officials had the authority to protect our resources, residents wouldn't feel forced to fight these battles on their own. So I do urge you to visit the language of SB 180 and restore local authority, not just for the Myakka River, but for Old Florida and preserving our land and our waterways. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Lindsay McElwain, followed by Children's Home Society of Florida.
Hey, good morning. I'm not Lindsay, I'm Brenda Whaley, but she is our support coordinator, and I'm here again to talk about the I-budget waiver. And thank you for your attention. I'm a mom, caregiver to an adult daughter with disabilities, and Lindsay is my support coordinator, so I just popped in. I didn't expect to speak. But anyway, she is very important to us. The whole I-budget waiver program is important to us, and I would have to say that it is the linchpin to our life and how we go about it and manage our situation. And I speak not just for myself, but really for every parent who finds themselves in my situation. And really not one person is jazzed about this managed care situation. And, you know, looking at it, to me, it seems like a big kind of cash grab for some large corporations at the expense of a very vulnerable population who may not have the wherewithal to advocate for themselves against these kind of people. There are 10 lobbyists in Tallahassee paid, and there's just, you know, us kind of getting out there and doing what we can. But really, it's important, and if we could just maintain that option, it would mean everything. So thank you.
Thank you. Children's Home Society of Florida. Ms. Barbetto. Floridians for National Popular Vote. Followed by Protect Florida Seniors.
Hello, Deb Mazzaferro, National Popular Vote. I appreciate that you guys are really busy, you get 3,500 bills a year, and it's not the easiest thing to manage. For about 10 years, we've had the bills, which are interstate compacts, filed, and there's really never been a committee hearing, and that's my request today. Every year we have a bill. This year it's House Bill 57 and Senate Bill 232, and our first committee hearing should be Government Operations Subcommittee at the House. So that's my very simple request. I've also asked for individual meetings with a couple of you, and I will with the other two, so that you can be brought up to speed. I don't want to go through all of that today. Florida is no longer a swing state, so I think it's time for you guys to really look at the national popular vote and what it means. Thank you.
Thank you. Marilyn Laylor, followed by Dr. Sharon Barber. Good morning.
Good morning. Senators and Representatives, I am Mary Ellen Lawler, and I'm the co-founder of Protect Florida Seniors. I've provided you with a fact sheet with several of the facts about this issue. I'm asking for your support, which will allow the use of electronic video equipment in nursing homes. I anticipate that Senator Garcia is introducing a camera bill again in the next session. This is the 5th year that a camera bill will be introduced. In the past 4 years, the bill died in committee. My husband was in a nursing home for over 2 years, suffering from Parkinson's and dementia. He was completely dependent on staff and could not speak. There is no Florida law against cameras in the residents' rooms. Yet my echo machine that played music and had a camera was confiscated by the administrator. Florida's population of people over 65 is growing. The number of nursing homes is growing. And at some point, everyone in this room may need to be confined to a nursing home. When we need nursing care, we are most vulnerable and are dependent on the others to advocate for us. Having a camera in the room will help all of us feel safe and know that our loved ones are monitoring our care. Periodically, there are news stories about a patient being abused and neglected in nursing homes. In March 2021, Janet Smith was a patient in a Sarasota nursing home. Janet was 85 and was in the advanced stages of dementia. Her daughter asked to have a camera in the room, but was refused. Janet was found to have the physical symptoms of assault, and the staff was identified as the likely rapist. But because there was no camera, the staff went free. In the past year, there was a tragedy in the Miami area where a male resident named Etienne was reported missing from a nursing facility, and 3 days later he was found dead in the facility closet. I'm sure that if there had been a camera in his room, the chances of Etienne being found alive are greater. But even more recently, this last October, beginning of this October, William Ray, an 83-year-old man with dementia, was living in a memory care unit at an assisted living facility in the Tampa area. His daughter had installed a Ring camera so she could check on him. She alerted the staff when he was missing from his room, and he was found dead in a walk-in freezer. There are 20 states that have passed laws allowing electronic video equipment in nursing homes. The most recent is Rhode Island in May 2024. The residents and families are better protected because of it. It is hard to understand why Florida legislators have not supported the passage of a camera bill.
Ma'am, can you please wrap up your testimony?
Okay, we live in a culture where every aspect of our lives is being reported. Florida needs to join this movement in the country. Why not nursing homes? I encourage you to look closely at this issue. Florida citizens need your protection. Thank you.
Thank you. National Association of Social Workers of Florida, followed by Second Heart Homes.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
I was listening to those testimonies. That breaks my heart that all that's happening to our older people in this season of their lives. So I'm here for the Social Work Licensure Compact. I'm Sharon, correct the record, I'm not Dr. Sharon Barber, but I am Sharon Barber. And I am a social worker licensed here in the state of Florida. And I'm here to ask that this coming legislation session, that the Senate bill concerning the licensure compact be taken up, be looked at. I want to offer our support as social workers. The National Association of Social Workers is the largest professional association of social workers in the United States, and our goal is to find solutions. We're solutions focused. So as you look at this bill in the coming session and you see problems with it, please reach out to us and we'll help you to work it out. You are there because you're solution focused as well. You're problem solvers, you're used to dealing with budgets and things like that. So whatever issue comes up that prevents you from moving forward, please reach out to us because we're on the ground. We're in the field and we're connected to the people. So thank you for all that you do and will do for this.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you. Second Heart Homes, followed by J&M Support Coordination Services.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tom Tryon, a native of Manatee County. I've lived here so long that some kid named Jimmy Boyd was my paper boy.
A good one, too.
The best, although his sister had to collect. I want to introduce my colleague, Megan Howell, the executive director and founder of Second Heart Homes, and she will tell our story.
Happy Monday. I want to start by thanking the entire Manatee legislative delegation for your leadership in helping our community. Your support was instrumental in advancing this issue last session, specifically Mr. Connerly. We need everybody's help today to push it over the finish line. A brief refresher on our organization. Second Heart Homes provides dignified housing, support services, and love to homeless adults living with mental health disorders. We help people move from the streets into homes, benefiting them and the community, offering solutions to the same challenges HB 1365 seeks to address. We don't seek state funding. We've acquired 14 homes in Manatee and Sarasota counties with 80 beds, all privately funded. That means we've helped lift about 7% of our region's homeless population off the streets without a single dollar of government funding. We are the little engine who could. We now need legislative relief from an unfair burden that limits our ability to provide housing and the high-touch support our residents rely on, like an address, employment support, accountability, safety, case management, and more. We work closely with local governments and taken extensive fire safety measures, yet one fire district requires costly sprinklers not demanded elsewhere. That burden already forced us to shut down one Manatee home and prepare to sell another. We're not asking for special treatment. We're only asking the same flexibility already recognized for other residences serving those with substance use disorders. Thanks to this delegation, two bills, SB 610 and HB 247, advanced last session to amend Sections 553.80 and 633.208 Florida law. We ask for your continued support to move this legislation across the finish line so we can preserve and expand the housing our residents depend on. Please help us continue saving and improving the lives of homeless adults with mental illnesses while strengthening neighborhoods, supporting local businesses, and helping local governments meet this challenge humanely. Thank you for your time.
One quick question. Was this bill last session or the session before?
Last session.
Of the 2025. Gotcha. Okay.
Could I ask? And
Sure.
somebody has it again this session. Do you know if it's some House member or a senator has already picked it up to?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. Have a nice Monday.
Thank you.
J&M Support Service Coordination Services, followed by Pat Simmons.
Good morning again, gentlemen. My name is Melissa Mazeda. I'm the Vice President of J&M Support Coordination Services. And you have heard from a couple of parents already who have children with developmental disabilities and the important component of support coordination, and that's what I do. And as parents, all of us worry about our children when they're small, when they're grown, even when they have families of their own. But when you have a child with a developmental disability, it brings a different kind of worry that runs much deeper. It's about whether your child will be safe, understood, cared for, or treated with dignity, both now and when you are gone. And unless you have a child with a developmental disability or you work in the field as I do, it's really hard to understand the daily reality, the exhaustion, the fear, the constant fight just to get the help that your loved one needs. It's important to understand that developmental disabilities is a small subset of the overall disability population. They require lifelong support and highly individualized services, and their needs are unique, and the systems that serve them must reflect that. That's why quality providers are the backbone of this system, providers with integrity who stay in the field for years, often for life. As waiver support coordinators, our job is clear. We're required by law to advocate and stand up for people with developmental disabilities. We lock arms with the families and we help them navigate an overwhelming maze of bureaucracy. People with developmental disabilities deserve quality of life and a sense of purpose just like everyone else. Support coordinators help provide that. We aim to give families a sense of security, and we're good stewards of taxpayer dollars, making sure those funds are used responsibly and effectively. However, our ability to do our job has been strained. Senate Bill 82 in 2020 created an unfunded mandate. It now requires new support coordinators to have a mentor with them for a minimum of 90 days, but provided no funding for it. The monthly rate only covers one support coordinator per client, not two, as Senate Bill 82 requires. This has caused a severe shortage of support coordinators and CDC consultants. Other challenges have been the iConnect system and the continual unwinding of our clients from Medicaid that they never had to deal with for decades. For 30 years, nobody was unwound from Medicaid, and now it is continual. For 2 years, it has been relentless. Meanwhile, a managed care model has been introduced to the wait list, and under current law, managed care receives 7.5%, called an achieved savings rebate of money that is not spent of the capitation rate. And they'll tell legislators that they're assuming financial risk, but yet since managed care was done statewide starting in 2014, they have continued to make gains. And families see that for what it is, companies profiting off of their hardship, and they're right to be upset, anyone that would make money off of profiting from hardship.
You're reading for a landing, ma'am,
Yes,
please.
yeah,
Thank you.
This last thing. The achieved savings rebate violates the core principles of fiscal responsibility and compassionate conservatism. We need to make sure that every tax dollar serves its true purpose, and compassionate conservatism means building those efficient systems that protect the vulnerable. Support coordination provides that solution, and I'm asking that you please support the waiver program to be a viable option by advocating for the support coordination component that is struggling and that you heard the families advocating for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Pat Simmons, followed by Catherine Askerud. And we're getting close to the end of the agenda. If there's those that are not on the agenda, would you please fill out a public appearance card, and I'll give you time at the end of the meeting.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a communication issue with my voice, so please bear with me if I run over.
Absolutely.
Let me set the scene. Jacksonville, Florida. Flowers lining the center aisle. The mood is somber. Funeral attendees file in. Children's classroom music begins to play as an open coffin rolls in, filled with books, binders, chalk, and various school supplies. There were speeches and stories of public school teachers' dreams, parents' hopes, and students' tears. The eulogy was given by Governor Lawton Chiles. He reminded us all that public education in the state of Florida could very well become a planned obsolescence. Yes, we were warned that night about the what-ifs. What if charter schools and private school vouchers came to fruition? What if those schools were mandated to enroll were not mandated to enroll Title I students in ESC, in ESOL, etc.? What happens to those students? What if FTE monies went to those schools instead of public schools? Yes, we had a funeral for public ed that night, and the year was 1992. Afterwards, Governor Chiles sought me out because he saw my shirt, and he said, it should say 92, 93, 94, 95. He knew then. Talk about Back to the Future. And yes, I was a teacher in special ed in Title I schools. I had rewarding experiences and days I wondered why I chose the profession at all. We were not given books, curriculum. The units I taught were donated. As a teacher in ESC, I was given $25 trust fund money for the year, while regular ed teachers were given that quarterly to spend for the classrooms. My techs and foster grandmothers were routinely usurped by the front office. And at that time, $1 of FTE money that was brought in by a regular ed student, special ed students brought in $4 to the school. And yet we were given none of that money. Remember, because I remember when the lottery came to Florida, and it was sold as an answer to education funding until we found out that the schools only received the icing of that lottery cake. So now charters and vouchers want to take that icing too. So I ask you, what if? If you want to know what a person with a disability wants or needs, ask us. Don't ask suits, don't ask administrators, ask us. Because right now, I'm ready to say it's time to quit playing checkers and it's time to start playing chess. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Carolyn Askerud, followed by Brenda Jabro.
Good morning. My name is Catherine Kelly Askerud, and I'm here today to talk about my daughter with special needs. Her name is Mackenzie. She will be 39 tomorrow. And this is my husband, Rick. A special needs child brings two very common emotions, joy and fear. The joy she brings to the world is immense. The fear she creates in me is terrifying. There are so many unknowns, dealing with doctors, specialists, evaluations, therapists, behavioralists, so many areas that most parents with neurotypical children never have to imagine. Her vulnerability is never ending. But my greatest fear is what happens when I die. That is a common fear among parents of special needs children and adults. Being an action-oriented individual, I set out to make sure my child was advocated for and supported. We filed for guardianship. We set up a special needs trust. We opened an ABLE account. We applied for services with the APD, and we waited. And we waited. 8+ years. The day I got the call that she had been approved, I cried, tears of joy, and then had champagne. Finally, we were going to receive services from Mackenzie. Then pretty much sheer terror struck. How do I navigate this process? It was large and very complex. I wanted to make sure that they were moving ahead correctly. We waited too long. It had to be right. Enter her waiver support coordinator. With the help and guidance of the support coordinator, Mackenzie was officially enrolled and activated. I could have never have done it without their help. In your handouts, you will see a large list of responsibilities that they coordinate and implement. They know my child. They meet with her on a regular basis in her residence. They understand her medical, physical, and behavioral issues. They advocate for her, and they are available 24/7. Support coordinators do this for all their clients, and each client is totally different. Should Florida mandate managed care for the MedWaiver program, I will be back to being terrified for what happens to my child upon my death. Someone sitting in a call center who will not know or have even met my child will be responsible for making decisions about her health care, her living situation, and her care. I believe managed care should be optional for parents. Parents should be able to opt out. Thank you.
Thank you. Brenda Jabro, followed by Martha S. Jacobs.
Good morning, and thank you for being here. I'd like to speak on behalf of concerned homeowners who reside in Florida HOAs. Not all HOAs are run according to Florida law because many HOA boards are run by volunteers who are not versed on HOA laws and run their communities according to their personal opinions and personal objectives. I know that the state legislature has done a lot of things with condominiums, but not necessarily HOAs. So I would like to know what new laws, if any, are being looked into so homeowners can have rights as to how their communities are managed. And the reason I'm bringing this up, and I'm going to read it, this was a FOIA request that I asked for. It took me over 90 days to get. And I think it's important because I think it kind of sums it all up. This is from an attorney firm that was let go 30 days after I have received this. I believe the association has spent about $14,000 on new documents. I cannot tell you how much it will cost to finish the project, as I do not know what the rewrite committee has done to change the drafted documents. From what I saw last time you sent the documents to me, they have removed a lot of necessary provisions, believing that they could regulate by rule after deleting the supporting right to regulate from the declaration. So that means that these boards, who are not knowledgeable in the law, are rewriting condo or homeowners' documents to take away our rights. And they're doing it. And our community is not the only community that's doing this. And as you know, most of the places in Florida have board members, and they have associations. And these associations now are taking advantage of homeowners who are elderly, who don't understand what's going on. And they're taking away our rights. And I really want the legislation to start looking into it and giving more rights
to the people that are paying their dues and expect their board members not to lie to them, to tell the truth, to tell us what's going on.
Thank you. And you're right, man. We have done a lot of work in the condo space, and we seem to have an HOA bill every year. And it's a great frustration. We may have a member file a bill to remove HOAs. I don't know.
I know that I've gone over my limit, but we've been working on this gentleman and I for 2 years, and they have done such outrageous things that we now actually have the Department of Justice, FEMA, and Homeland Security looking into some of the things that our association has done to us and the liability they have put us under.
Thank you.
And Mr. Conley, he has much of the information. Thanks to Ziad and to Morgan, they have been great in helping us try to navigate this because we're not attorneys. We don't know, but we do have common sense.
Thank you.
And we know when we're being taken advantage of.
Martha S. Jacobs, followed by Jonah Miller.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the delegation. My name is Martha Jacobs. I'm a Manatee County resident, and I work with Sea Alliance, a nonpartisan nonprofit focused on strengthening public schools right here in Manatee County. I work with Manatee County students, alumni, parents, and staff to make our schools stronger and more stable for the families who depend on them. I am here because 2 state policies are putting our public schools at risk. The expansion of Schools of Hope and the growth of the voucher system are removing local control, straining district budgets, and weakening the stability that our students and teachers rely on. I am not here to debate school choice. I am here to make sure public dollars, public buildings, and public trust remain in public hands. First, Schools of Hope. Mater Academy has filed notices to take space inside 2 Manatee campuses, the Sarah Scott Harley Center and Lincoln Middle School. These are active public schools that serve families every day. The law allows a private operator to use public funds and depend on district services such as transportation, custodial, maintenance, and food without paying full costs. That shifts expenses to taxpayers, reduces district control, and risks disrupting programs that are already working for local students. Second, voucher expansion. When a student leaves on a voucher, the district loses the funding but still must pay its teachers, maintain its buildings, and operate for the students who remain. That creates larger classes, fewer supports, and less stability in the neighborhood schools that most families still rely on. Private schools that receive vouchers are not required to follow the same public standards or accept every student. I'm asking the delegation to protect Manatee County's public schools, stop new Schools of Hope takeovers, require school board approval before any charter operator uses district property. Cap voucher growth until public schools are adequately funded, increase the base student allocation so districts can meet real costs and keep programs open for our kids. I thank you for your time and your service to Manatee County.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Jonah Miller, followed by Thomas J. Carter.
Thank you. I'm John O'Miller, and I'm going to be mentioning things that have already come up. You've heard, I think I'm the 7th person to talk about SB 180. You know it's an issue. I hope you'll address sections 18 and 28. I'm so old I can remember when the Florida legislature would routinely allocate $300 million for Florida Forever. And those days have passed, but it's something we need to do. We have a growing population. We have some great projects right here in this region that could be funded, and I hope you'll support that. I want to talk about protecting local ad valorem taxing authority. Here in Manatee and Sarasota counties, we have Republican county commissions. Those people are capable of lowering the taxes anytime they think it's appropriate. But they have to balance the taxpayers' interest in lower taxes with services that the taxpayers are also demanding. They can deal with taxes. What they can't deal with is insurance. So if there's something you could accomplish that would really help people locally that can't be done locally, that would be to address the insurance situation. And the other thing I'd like to bring up just in response, my wife and I have a house with 35 solar panels. It's already generated 9 kilowatt hours of electricity today. We pay $29.93 a month for electricity. So I don't know what all the other concerns that have been brought up today are, but I can tell you it works for us, and I hope you'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thomas J. Carter, followed by Jules Rain, and last call to fill out a public appearance card. I'll give those 1 minute. Mr. Carter, you're recognized.
Gentlemen, for being here today. It's true that you have lots of laws on HOAs and condos, but it's the enforcement of the violations of the law. We can't find how you're going to enforce it. So when you have severe violations, we try to go to the agencies, and we're told we can't do that. So I'd just like you to look into enforcement of Florida Statute 720. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Jules Rain, followed by the Florida Dental Hygienists Association, followed by Barbara Voss.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for being here, and Senator Ward, congratulations on being designated incoming Senate President. I'm a constituent and a homeowner here in Bradenton. I believe in family values, democracy, limited government, and I love this country and the ideals of freedom, liberty, and justice for all upon which it was founded. What I do not love is the language of hate, division, and censorship, which has become so prevalent in Florida politics in recent years. I'm especially concerned about how our laws, legislature, and state government treat LGBTQ people like myself and the effect this has on me and my family. I'm an LGBTQ parent of a child in Manatee County schools, and I believe that my parental rights are just as important as the rights of any other family to see themselves represented in age-appropriate classroom materials, because diverse histories, cultures, and viewpoints should be celebrated, not erased through book bans and the whitewashing of history. I urge you all to champion legislation which will foster respect and inclusion for all students and all families. I'm asking you today to help bring an end to culture war politics in the state of Florida, because free states don't ban books, free states don't criminalize healthcare, and free states don't censor history and culture. There's no freedom in government dictating what we can read or how we can express our culture. Bills which further marginalize and erase LGBTQ people by banning books, removing rainbow crosswalks, and restricting healthcare, or rolling back diversity, equity, and inclusion in government agencies do not serve the public interest. Such legislation doesn't make healthcare or housing costs more affordable, make groceries more affordable, make us more prepared for the next hurricane, or stop the red tide which hits our coast every year. It doesn't give my child a better education or keep her safer from gun violence in schools. Culture war legislation only ends up hurting everyone, including the community here in Bradenton, with the removal of sidewalk art in the Village of the Arts. Your actions during this year's legislative session, I'm almost done, will determine how we vote in the 2026 election. And I'm asking you to be lawmakers who will live up to the ideal of passing legislation that will benefit all Floridians, including LGBTQ families like mine. Thank you.
Thank you. Florida Dental Hygienists Association, followed by Barbara Voss.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Shankisha Sizemore. I am a licensed dental hygienist here in Manatee County. I've lived in Manatee County since 1988 and been a hygienist for over 20 years. I'm also an educator at State College of Florida Dental Hygiene Program. I am the president of the Florida Dental Hygienists Association, and we are committed to expanding access to high-quality dental care, and we are grateful for your ongoing support of our mission to ensure affordable, quality oral health services for all Floridians. For the 2026 legislative session, we respectfully request your support for legislation authorizing the mid-level dental provider called a dental therapist, who would deliver simple and uncomplicated dental procedures. Dental therapists would receive the exact same didactic and practical education as dental students pursuing licensure as Florida dentists. Take the exact same double-blinded clinical licensing exam side by side with dental students on those like services. Dental therapists do not practice independently. They work under a contractual agreement with licensed Florida dentist who maintains full authority over the scope of services provided and determines the level of supervision for each of the following allowed services. The need is urgent. Florida currently has the highest rate in the nation of emergency department visits for non-traumatic dental issues among children under the age of 14. In 2024 alone, those visits cost nearly $1 billion. In most cases, patients visiting the emergency room for dental pain are prescribed antibiotics and a painkiller, and are then sent away to see a dentist. But because there is no one in the ER qualified to deliver treatment that would rid them of their dental pain, they are sent away to see a dentist that they don't have in the first place, and because they don't have access to care or cannot afford to see a dentist. And I'll wrap up to share my personal experience. As a professor at State College of Florida, we were offered a $10,000 grant. We saw over 300 children last year providing free dental services, dental hygiene care. But those kids in immediate need, I could not, as the liaison, find a dental home for them. And it saddens me and discouraging as a dental care provider that we can't get care for these kids.
Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
Thank you.
And I just want to say, Legislator Connolly, as an educator, we support your mobility bill and changing it to say CODA approved program. We thank you for that.
Barbara Voss. And then we'll get into the public appearance cards. Director Heather Felton is up next.
Good morning. I want you all to know how much I appreciate you serving in our legislature. And as a constituent here in Manatee County, I wanted to speak to Florida laws for Florida courts. The U.S. Constitution has been long established. We're going to be celebrating our 250th year. We have unique values of liberty which do not exist in foreign legal systems. Particularly, I'm speaking today concerning Sharia law, including among but not limited to those values are rights of freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, due process, right to privacy, right to keep and bear arms. Reviews of state laws provide extensive evidence that foreign laws and legal doctrines are introduced into U.S. state court cases, including notably Islamic law known as Sharia, which is used in family courts and other courts in dozens of foreign Muslim majority nations. These foreign laws, frequently at odds with U.S. constitutional principles of equal protection and due process, typically enter the American court system through comity, which is mutual respect of each country's legal system, choice of law issues, choice of forum or venue. Granting comity to a foreign judgment is a matter of state law, and most state and federal courts will grant comity unless the recognition of the foreign judgment would violate some important public policy of the state. This doctrine, the void as against public policy rule, has a long and pedigreed history. Unfortunately, because state legislatures have generally not been explicit about what their public policy is relative to foreign laws, including Sharia, the courts and the parties litigating in those courts are left to their own devices. I encourage you to please take a look at what I've submitted for proposal for this next legislative session. Thank you.
You so much. Thank you. Director Heather Felton, school board member, followed by Christina Gherkin, and we're supposed to be out of here by 12, but I don't believe Councilwoman Moore will kick us out, so 1 to 2 minutes, please, if you wouldn't mind. You're recognized. Thank you.
Thank you. I am a member of the Manatee County School Board. I am speaking on behalf of my constituents. I do not speak on behalf of the board. I am sure you are aware of the many concerns your constituents have over the most recent Schools of Hope legislation. If the state is unwilling or unable to tighten the legislation on this item, please consider giving the school districts a year's grace period, as was done for school safety legislation, school start time legislation, etc. This will give us time to prepare for implementation. The rulemaking was set at the end of September. This goes into effect at the end of this month, and that gives us 2 weeks, meaning November 11th is the time when we can start receiving letters from Schools of Hope. Currently, Manatee County is opening new schools. We have 2 opening in parish next fall. We've just opened one in parish this past fall and one further east. We are also rezoning the entire district at this time. The plan will come out on October 31st. Current vacant space will not be vacant next fall. We need and deserve time to prepare for the impacts of our schools and how this is going to affect us and our teachers and our staff. Thank you for all you have done for Manatee County Schools, particularly with the Soarin' 4. I'm glad you were able to go. I'm glad you're going to be there. I'll see you tonight. And if you guys are available at 6 o'clock. I really appreciate everything you have done for our district, for MTC as well. Both of my children attend there. And thank you very much.
And good luck with that rezoning task. I'm sure that's a big one. Yeah. Christina Gherkin, CEO, founder of Align Benefit Corp., followed by John Meyer. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chair Robinson and legislators, and congratulations to Senator Boyd as well. With the Align Benefit Corporation, we have an initiative called the Growing Oaks Initiative, and it is a collective of innovative local leaders from the judicial system, DCF, law enforcement, Department of Health, Safe Children's Coalition, the school board, and key leaders in foster care and foster care aging out. We work to provide opportunities, advocacy, and keys for success for those aging out of foster care. In our research 2 years ago, we discovered that there are over 100 youth currently in crisis, and today it's 110 youth in crisis, and they are on the wait list for getting help through CAT teams, which are community action treatment teams, and they are great in our area. They're across the state, but we are here to help support the work they do. And so we have come up with what is called the Connection Coordinator, and we are petitioning for 4 connection coordinators for this initiative to help support those youth that are on a wait list to get the care that they need. This region specifically has seen a 350% increase in needs of high-risk, high-needs youth over the last 2 years. So this is not going away. This is staying steady. And so the Connection Coordinator program will provide specific population to these youth to prevent them from going into residential group homes and foster care. These specific coordinators will provide a savings of $4.2 million a year for the state just by implementing these connection coordinators. So you have the digital copies of the Growing Oaks program. You will see the breakdown of the numbers. Thank you for your time, and the various leaders will see you in Tallahassee.
Thank you. John P. Meyer, past president, Aluminum Association of Florida.
That is correct.
Ooh, I was glad I had my glasses on.
You have to do now. Mr. Chairman, members, Senator Osgood prepared House Bill 78, which is for home hardening products, tax exempt for certain products to be used. In the home hardening products definition under the Florida Building Code, it does include products that are relative to my industry, which are storm shutters, accordion panels, and so forth. It's my request that you will add these products to that bill for them to be included. They are very favorable and consumer friendly in a cost basis to a homeowner. In the event of a storm, if a impact glass panel gets damaged and so forth, it could be 6, 8, 10 months before that product is available to be replaced. A storm panel, accordion shutter, these things are readily available to an industry. I represent roughly 7,000 aluminum contractors who employ tens of thousands of people in the state of Florida. We request your consideration to be inclusive of these products. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And that concludes the public comment portion of the agenda. Members, we're in kind of closing comments. Representative Conroy, you have anything you would like to say?
Just appreciate everybody that's come out and shared their stories and their issues. It's always encouraging to see how many people have passions for so many different things across our community. So I'd really like to thank everybody for coming out.
No one?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, and I'll ditto that. I know you guys take a lot of time away from your families and your jobs to be here to echo your concerns. These delegation meetings are such a great opportunity, not just for you all, but for us to find out what's important to this community. So I really appreciate you all taking the time, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, for running a tight ship, too.
Senator, President-designate Leader Boyd.
Thanks.
Sir.
Imagine how much time we could have saved if we hadn't had to go through all that. I apologize. But thank you as well for being here today. Thank you for your concerns. Many have left, but we do listen. We do try to respond, and we want to make sure we're serving our community that elected us to serve them. So I appreciate everyone's time. Certainly, if it's important to you, we've already heard from you. We heard from you today, and hopefully we'll hear from you again as we move through session. But please call us and let us know if there's things that are of concern as we're moving through this next session. It starts up pretty quick. We have a couple more committee week meetings in November and December, and then January session starts the second Tuesday, I guess, in January. So it's we're about to hit the ground running, but please don't ever hesitate to reach out to us if you need us. Thank you. And thank you for your leadership today. Good job, Chairman.
Well, I think I mentioned in my opening, this is one of my favorite days of the year. It really is. And it's my 8th House delegation meeting, and it's just such a pleasure to represent my home community. And look, we have to sit up here and listen to stuff we agree and maybe stuff we don't agree with. And that's our job. Our job is to listen and to understand what the issues are for our community, certainly as we prepare for the 26th session. I'd like to publicly thank my legislative aide, Sadiq. He did 99.9% of the work to get us here. He even got me using an iPad instead of printing out all the materials, which is like a miracle of miracles. So thank you, Sadiq, on everything you've done. And I'd like to publicly thank all of our staff. I see a lot of them sitting in the audience. We couldn't do what we could do without your hard work and what you do for our constituents. And please, like I said earlier, please reach out to our offices. That's why we're here. I know y'all only had 2 minutes. We have time for you at any time during our offices or emails or phone calls, so please reach out to our offices. Without any further business in front of us, we are adjourned.